Wait, there we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Hello. No, go away. No, we were fine. I did it. We got through and I managed to, like, quieten you down before it started.
Nope. Never. Never have a solid intro.
Single
The only time Tim was here and I was gone, so, you know. Welcome.
Tim was nicer than you. I might replace you with Tim. Hello, and welcome to the Artist Lounge podcast. My name is Sarah, also known as The Gamer Draws. I'm joined once again by Mike, also known as Funisher, or today as Funbun, okay?
Fun.
And for our 20th episode, we have the wonderful Foxtrot Oscar 23, also known as Sean. Hey!
Hello.
So
Yes,
this should be
yeah.
this should be a good one. I've had a few messages saying that they're excited, so awesome.
That's just pressure.
Don't worry. This is like the chillest podcast on the internet. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still many poos are flying out my bum.
Okay, so on that note, anyone who's watching, you should be seeing the chat there if I flipped my screen correctly, or it might be there, I don't know. But anyway, you should see the chat right next to us, so you can write along with us, but you can't put links into the chat. So if you want to show us your artwork, let me know in there where it is, and then please post it in the Artist Lounge thread, which should be over in Artist Lounge at the moment. And it'll have the title as the name of the podcast and a date, so you know it's the correct one. So yeah, the picture that we will be drawing is from the lovely Lily C, submitted 2 hours ago, and the title is "Have drawn a lot of friends lately, wouldn't mind a photo of myself done." So there's a bunch of pictures in there for you guys to peruse and choose. So yeah. How are you guys? You alright?
Yeah, doing well.
Yeah. That wasn't a very confident yeah.
Yeah, mostly, kind of.
Yeah. So you're in Australia right now. What is the time over in that part of the world?
It is 10:30 in the morning, so a lot more civilized than it is for you.
Yeah.
And others, yeah.
I think everyone in chat should let us know where they are and what the time is there.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna move over. Let's see who's shown up. We've got Slam, Meta Baron, Who Died, Friedrich Brockman. Ooh, a new person. Anyone else?
Like, I watch every week, and you never remember my name.
Oh no! I've never seen that name before, unless they've got another account. But yeah, cool. So you may have noticed that my man has already beaten us. So what's even the point?
He literally, every week he finishes his piece, like, super fast. And this week, we decided on a piece we were going to do. We hadn't even made an announcement yet, and he finished it 15 minutes before we even announced the one we were going to draw. It's like a magic trick at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, he went forward in time.
Yeah,
and then went
back. Like, I don't even know it anymore. He just, like, knew.
I was thinking about doing some acrylic painting for this podcast, and then I was like, no, I'll be in direct competition with my man. I would be nowhere near as complete.
He's probably already finished enough by now.
Oh, Free Fill 1's already done one for that one as well. It's really good.
Yeah, and then there was another piece in there.
What? Really?
No pressure.
So oh my god, there really is.
We usually don't do, like, this one had just a couple posts, but we won't start on ones if there's already like 30 posts in it.
Yeah.
It's been up for a while. And we always tend to, if we see someone who's an RGD regular submitter or artist or regular participant who is there when we jump on board, we tend to lean towards that to draw the fellow community,
Friendists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've got some times coming in. Lithuania, it's 3:38. Finland, 3:38 a.m. Oh my god, you guys. Ireland,
crazy.
That is crazy. Ireland is the same time as
dedication.
me, 1:39 a.m. New York, 8:39 p.m. Oh my god.
I gotta go to Europe and do some episodes from your guys' time zone for a while to give back to the community.
That'd be good fun. Or do like
do it like a normal hour.
Yeah, an EU time.
Yeah. Or still do it in the middle of the night, even though I totally wouldn't have to, just to make it horrible. I'd still ruin the intro every time.
You just have to, don't you? You just have to ruin things for me. Meta Baron says, is Fox doing digital or traditional?
Digital, obviously. It's just easier.
So you're working in Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
Is Photoshop like a favorite of yours? Have you tried other ones?
No, I've never tried anything else.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 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 I've only been doing this a little while. What's it? It's almost a year, just shy of a year. So.
Wait, what?
You've only been doing this for a year and you're already that good at it.
Wait, everyone, wait. Wait. You've only been doing digital for a year?
Yes. Not quite a year, almost a year. I'm like 2 weeks away from my Reddit day, and that was the first time. Yeah, the first time I did anything was RGD when I started on Sketch Daily about a year ago.
I hate you right now, so much.
There's a reason that, I use Reddit Enhancement Suite, and your nickname next to your name says Amadeus, because you say something like that, and I just hear in the back of my head.
I'm going to disappoint you so hard today. Worse than I disappointed my mother.
Oh, wow! So, you must have been drawing traditionally before that, right?
No, well, not since high school, which is a long time ago. Long time ago.
I can't physically cope right now.
I think I just threw up into my heart.
I doodled on sketch pads when I was bored at meetings at work and stuff. But
I was bored and I accidentally made the Mona Lisa, it's fine.
No, it's definitely not that.
Okay then, so you must have improved incredibly fast then to be able to do that. Did you have a certain study regime, or was it just that you really got into it, or?
I really got into it. God, I really got into it. I was slapping out, 4 or 5 a day at some points for RGD.
Really?
Yeah. I've calmed down now. a bit, but I got really into it for a while. Looked at a lot of tutorials. Traced a lot of shit, which everyone slags off, but I think it certainly helped me learn where bits of faces go. Try not to do it nearly as much nowadays, but yeah.
To me, tracing I think is probably one of the best things someone can do when they're learning. I think a lot of artists who, in my experience from what I've heard from people, a lot of artists who seem to have, quote, natural talent, when they were studying, or studying, quote, quote, studying, they did a lot of tracing, where it would be stuff that either they admired, or if they were kids when they were learning, then it would be comic books and stuff like that they traced. And I think you learn a lot about how you should be drawing from doing that, and then after that you move on to actually adapting and learning stuff yourself.
Yeah. I think it certainly seemed to work for me. I think.
I mean, if you
could sometimes.
If you can get to where you are in a year, then I feel like whatever you've done is definitely good.
I don't know. I mean,
you took notes. You wasn't taking notes.
Oh, you're a little bit choppy, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm oh god, I'm sweating. Tell me if you hear the fan if I turn it on. Is there like a fan sound ruining things?
No, it's alright.
Nope.
Yeah, we're good?
You're good.
We'll
You
go
don't have to die. It's fine.
It's so hot in this room. I'm sweating and I'm sitting here. Like it's embarrassing. Woo.
Alright then, well let's all like jump over to our arty screens then and we can get drawing before Mike dies.
Let's get rid of my face.
Alright, I need to choose which one to draw. I keep changing my mind because these are like ridiculously good pictures. I kind of want to be different. I feel like everyone's going for the like cool like expression, like the last one. Like tongue and teeth one.
Is my microphone picking up the fan, or does it sound okay?
Sounds fine to me.
Sweet. People in the chat can just like let me know if it is annoying.
Who died just saw that your name is Fun Bun.
That was it will be mine. Referred to me as Fun Bun once, and then determined that that was going to be the name in there. And I thought it was kind of a fun name. And it works, you know, that, Fun Bun, big fun, and, well, that's all I can think of.
Oh, Demon Man just said, hey guys, get any mail today. Is that in reference to what I think it's in reference to? Demon Man.
Demon Man, did you send a UPS package?
Oh no, we've divided by 0! It's alright, you saved it.
Which screen I'm sharing? Right, is that a picture of, that you guys can see, is that a picture of Lily C?
It is a picture of a bunch of squares.
Hooray! Poof, okay, I'm sharing the right screen. Otherwise you'd just be looking at a photo of her with
okay, cool.
the grid over it.
There was a UPS package that came into my work today, but I was the only one there and I was upstairs. I swear they didn't ring the doorbell. I did not hear the doorbell, and I go outside and there's just like this sticky note on the door, like, you missed the package. So I gotta get it tomorrow. But if that's it, then I'm really curious, because I don't know if that's the thing you're referring to, Demon Man. If so, I'm very curious.
Meta Baron says Fun Bun is better than furniture.
That's right, furniture.
Demon Man says yes to both of you.
Oh man.
Okay, alright. Wait here, and I'll go get them. You guys be entertaining.
Oh dear.
I don't have anything entertaining to say.
No, do I. I'm all
I was, before I was rudely interrupted, as I was interrupting the intro to the show, I did learn that you can be used, people will use you for access to the shuffleboard table at the bar. And me and Smokey Beard learned that lesson.
Okay.
We learned that the awkward way, as we were at the bar getting ready to play shuffleboard, right? And then these two women come up and they're like, "Hey, you guys want to play shuffleboard?" And then we're just like, "Yes, of course. Why wouldn't we?" But then they kind of pushed it in this way, right? And it turns out we interrupted these dudes' game and we had no idea. And then like they just leave and suddenly like we're there like awkwardly with the dudes whose game we totally like accidentally stole on the shuffleboard. It was like super awkward. But then the dudes, and I was kind of annoyed, right? I was just like, well,
yeah.
Who leaves the shuffleboard game in the middle of a game? Like, to go take a smoke break, like, and they just leave the stuff there? I thought they had left. But they kind of come up all weird, like that kind of alpha dude kind of, oh, all right, I guess you guys are playing now kind of thing, So I was annoyed. But then, but then once the ladies leave and they leave us there with the dudes awkwardly, the dudes bought us a round of drinks, bought pictures, and then ended up becoming friends with them. So there's a life lesson there. The life lesson is you can have a shuffleboard game. You can be manipulated into stealing someone's shuffleboard game, but you'll probably still make friends with people in the end. So, follow through.
What?
That's a beautiful thing.
Hey, what's up? You're back.
Hey. So I believe what my man is referencing for me are these gorgeous flowers that I was gifted today at my
Holy
doorstep.
moly!
Yeah, look how pretty
Oh my
they are.
god! Red, white, and blue. He gave you some America flowers.
America. They are so pretty. Thank you so much. And they smell amazing. So now the house smells amazing. Thank you very much. And I'm glad that you're enjoying the show. And I hope that we can continue to make wonderful shows that you enjoy just as much. But yeah, I'll keep them there. And they can be sort of on the podcast today.
And I'll make sure tomorrow at work that, well, there'll be other people there, so we won't miss the delivery this time. I'll have you know, though, UPS has pulled this before, where if there's construction on the street, like, they just kind of go like, oh, I couldn't stop, and suddenly there's just a note. I don't know.
They do that here too.
But the weird thing is I found at UPS, like, usually the UPS drivers are super nice and super friendly. Like, they'll, like, remember you. I remember we had this one guy who would always bring deliveries to our gallery, and I'd see him all the time. And, you know, you kind of got to know him. And then time went on, right? And I'm just walking down the street in a different part of the city, and he's, like, walking by doing a delivery, and he's like, oh, hey, man, what's up? And he, like, recognized me and said hello for a second. So, you know, I don't know what's going on there. I think there's a disconnect between the how absolutely nice and awesome the drivers are as disconnecting from maybe some type of deep-level policy among the business. This is all just like my tinfoil hat conspiracy theories about shipping companies, though. It goes pretty deep.
You have many of those, I feel. All right.
Now I'm really curious what that package is, but don't tell me, Demon Man.
What I thought was really, really cool was that it came from like a really local Essex place, like a really local flower shop. I was like, how did you do that?
Dude did some research.
Yeah. But yeah, they're red, white, and blue for, my man said, for our American English girl.
You're American now. That's how you get citizenship. You get red, white, and blue flowers, and now you're a citizen.
Oh, nice.
Actually. Yeah, it's that easy.
What bonuses do I get from that now?
Well, you're gonna lose your health care. That's a tough one. You'll get used to it. So you'll just stop going to the doctor instead of going, and
yeah, I don't go anyway.
Yeah, we'll send you a gun and a Bible, and so that kind of gets you. You know, you got a book, and the book will help you know when to use the gun, and then
right.
And then, yeah, your kids are going to get a really bad education publicly, or you can spend a college tuition amount on a private school. And but like your next computer is going to be like a lot cheaper, so it's all worth it in the end.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Swings around about.
Yeah. So it all evens out. It's like, you know, education, healthcare, $50 off an iPod. Like, what do you want, you know? And the people have spoken.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh my god.
Oh, someone, was it Who Died was asking me about the circle thing I was doing on drawings, and then I said I would draw it, and explain as I'm drawing how the whole circle thing works. I think I tried typing it out, and as usual, I don't know. I never can tell if when I'm writing something if it's communicating or if it's just like words make a sentence, and then I just throw a bunch of random words together and put a period at the end. But pretty much the idea is normally, you know, you can draw a face by measuring. You know, you can have like the big circle for the head, which I don't do. I don't like doing that. I can explain that in a minute. And then you draw the division lines in it. So if you have a big circle for the head, or oval, whatever, egg, upside down egg, I don't know. And then you draw the line through the center, obviously, to measure symmetry, and then a line centered horizontally for the eyes, and then for the nose, center, etc., etc. There's that whole process, but I found that I tend to not like drawing outwards and in on a face because it was hard for me to kind of draw the unique features. So when I was in school and learning how to draw, it was all figure structure. So you were kind of studying how to look at the face three-dimensionally, maybe start with some type of cube shape. Like you'd start like this, right? You'd have some kind of cube that's foreshortened to a one-point perspective down here. And then, let me see if it's actually visible in the thing, to a one-point perspective towards the bottom. We can get another light on here just temporarily. And then everything was drawn in regards to that perspective. And then you could kind of round the top, and you'd have another cube to kind of represent the top of the head like this. And what we first did when we were first drawing is drawing boxes over a skull. So we would draw the skull of the figure first, and then we would draw that within a cube that we had foreshortened already three-dimensionally, and then it was a matter of connecting points of the head to that cube. So the eyebrow, like, you know, I don't remember the names of everything because they're complicated. But you would connect it to different parts of the cube, and you would know where the point of the skull was hitting the three-dimensional form, and then that way you can kind of build your form around it. And that was a fun way to learn. But I noticed as the professor, his name was John Erickson. He teaches at the University of Utah. You can look up his stuff. You know, he has a book. He made a book, and it was only published. He only put it together for students. I'm going to go grab it and just show it here because it's not published, and this is the only way people can see it. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually studying that technique this week. I've heard it called blocking in, and I think it was by Alfonso Dunn on YouTube. If people are interested in it. He's done a series like the basics of drawing, and one of them was how to start a drawing. It had all these different things like working from the outside in and working from the inside out. It really goes into a lot of detail on how to do each of the different techniques. So if anyone's watching and they're interested in trying out some of the different techniques, I'd definitely look up Alfonso Dunn's videos because it's really informative and you can draw along with him. It's really cool.
I'm just remembering I have to remember to speak sometimes.
You're going to speak so it goes to your screen.
Yeah. Oh, no, you don't want that. That's not this.
Every now and then just whistle.
That's it. I'll just stay quiet right until the end. I'll present you with a thing.
Everyone gets super pissed.
No, dude, I'll be quiet.
There you go. All done.
They'll be trying to look at the thumbnail the whole time.
Yeah! That'll be me after this podcast. I'll just be sitting there like studying it.
Alright, so dig this. So this was the professor that taught me how to draw figures. I had like the two professors I had in school that were like if my whole school experience could be just two professors for a couple years, which is really all I would have needed. It would have been John Erickson and another professor named John O'Connell. And John O'Connell was kind of like, he really kind of taught me how paint works. You know, he taught me a lot about kind of the medium and how to put a studio together to work to, you know, be productive, and how to save a lot of money on art supplies. It was like really helpful things that was kind of outside of class that, you know, he kind of taught me how to do, so I owe a lot to him. And then John Erickson was an amazing instructor for figure drawing. And so we kind of, okay, here's a good example. So he would draw by kind of three-dimensionally drawing the skull within the cube, and, you know, different areas, kind of laying in everything piece by piece. It's kind of a shame this book isn't out there more. This is where the circle things started to kind of come in, to kind of get bulbous forms of the muscles. But it was just kind of raw and loose, and obviously this thing's just made with like a regular crappy coffee machine. A lot of his influence came from George Bridgman, who has the Complete Guide to Life Drawing or something like that on Amazon, and it's really cheap, and it's a great book on figure structure. Because there's a big difference between, I think, just kind of figure drawing or anatomy and figure structure. Anatomy, you'll learn the parts of the body, but figure structure, you'll learn how they all connect together and how to represent them three-dimensionally, especially if you're going to stick a skull in a pelvis. But the thing is like, this was a good way to start learning topographic lines, and topographic lines are a very fundamental way to learn how to start hatching and cross-hatching well, because really what you're doing is you're shading topographically. Like, these lines are a very few to kind of show how you can and this is a very quick drawing to show how you can represent a three-dimensional structure topographically. But if you shade across the form as opposed to along the form following the topography, you can translate that really easily into hatching lines with pen and ink. And that's what I did with my RGDs over time, because I started with pencil, but I would shade topographically, and since it was pencil, I could erase if I messed up. But then you can start to see how the form would work. And then he did this through the whole body, you know, laying out the skeletons and whatnot. I don't know if he ever has a book. If he publishes anything, I'll look into that. I'm definitely gonna let people know, because I learned so much from that. And so I was putting things in this box, and I found that as I was watching him, he would use circles for areas. You'd have like kind of the whole, you kind of lay in a whole skull like this, and then you know there'd be kind of a ball of a nose right here, and then I gotta move this screen here so I can see better. You would know kind of where everything would start to land, and then, you know, if she's kind of giving a snarl, you know it's gonna push these lines up on the sides of the nose. And if the chin down here, you can do a whole circle that just represents those lines down to the bottom of the chin. And really what these circles are doing is kind of laying in the forms of the skull. And the important thing to remember is what's really awesome about using circles as opposed to cubes or pretty much any other shape is you can look at a circle and think of it as a flat two-dimensional circle, and then use those lines to measure off of each other, like where the edge of the eye, you might triangulate to the nose. But then you can, once you kind of start laying in, looking at a photograph that's already flat, once you start laying in those shapes, you can then add volume to your drawing by switching over and picturing those circles to be spheres. And then it's a matter of shading the parts of the spheres and picturing a skin over it. So that's kind of why I use these a lot, because when I first started drawing from photo as opposed from life, it was hard to measure using a figure structure approach, which is based on looking at a 3D environment. Well, now I'm looking at a 2D, and it was messing up my process. But what the circles did is I could picture them being flat two-dimensional circles, and I can measure off of them to the flat photograph, and then I can add that depth of figure structure by switching my brain over after I lay it in and picturing them being spheres, and then shading the spheres, and then that's based on the kind of that figure structure route. And it's one of the only shapes like you can do that with, because if a square you have to turn it into a cube, triangle, pyramid, etc., whatever. But with a circle you can switch back and forth. And so I found it was a real helpful way to handle studying topography while using photographic references as opposed to three-dimensional models. So that's why I use circles. And so you use them for large general areas that you can kind of see for circles in the form.
I like that.
So yeah, that's where that came from. Now I'm going to go ahead and mess up a drawing so I can show that that theory doesn't work.
I'm aware, like I've heard of things similar, because I really like that, because it's very much like you're mapping it, like you're gridding it out and you're figuring out all the individual structures and what different things relate to other things. It really works on proportion, like relationships between different parts, I think. Something that I've heard of that uses a very similar technique is if you want to do foreshortening, so something's coming at you, rather than using circles, you use spirals. So you create
spirals.
So if you create the underlying form with spirals, because you can imagine it like a coil, and like it's getting bigger as it gets closer to you, and then if it's got like a bump in the middle, like let's say it's an arm, and you've got that kind of like bump here before it gets to here, you can kind of mess with the spiral and make it bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller and practice it, like you're creating like long snakes, and then draw around the edges so that you can imagine it moving in 3D space. And it's a very similar technique, using those circles, but then trying to add that depth as well.
That's a really good idea. I like that idea. I haven't had a drawing where I've had to deal with that lately, but I'm totally going to try that next.
I believe that technique is one of Yasin's. I don't know if he came up with it or what, but I heard of it from Yasin.
Oh, man.
Trying to get these angles right now. Like, you said, oh, I never use an oval for the head, and I'd literally just done that, so I'm interested, why do you never use, is it just because you want to work from that block and work inwards?
Oh, yeah, because I found that if I start on the outside and work in, I base everything off standard measurements, you know, eyes are halfway down the head, and the eyes should be one eye apart from each other, or whatever rule, but I found that the thing that makes people look unique is how their face differs from those rules. That's why people look different, is because their faces don't match those rules. And so I use this, and now, admittedly, the problem with this technique is you can't really lay in a composition because the face and the head's going to kind of grow organically. So I find myself at times drawing first and then like cropping the paper later. So this is a problematic technique for painting if you have like a canvas or a board and you can't change the size. But drawing, you can just work small and then crop accordingly later for whatever composition you want. So it's kind of a fun advantage you can have there. But I like starting in and working out and building the features off each other because I feel like I'm focusing more on the aspects that makes that face look unique as opposed to how my brain is trying to make the face fit a standard formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I focus mostly on the features off of each other as opposed to off the shape of the head in general.
Yeah, I always screw it up when I try to do that, when I try to apply the rules and things rather than looking at what I'm actually doing. Never ends well.
How do you when you work in ballpoint pen, I noticed that, like, how did you kind of learn topography? Because you have a really well-rendered kind of topographic shading to your ballpoint pen drawings. You have like the forms in there really well, and so it's always choosing the direction of the lines. You know, it's always kind of that struggle.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really given it that much time. I mean, I generally, everything starts with the eyes on mine usually. So you get the eyes and nose right, you can get everything else from there. Yeah, in terms of topography and choosing the direction the lines go in, I didn't really give it any thought. It's just what I do. Yeah.
It can be that hard thing to articulate. Cause I remember when people had asked me, why do you do this, is that thing you think, I never really thought of it until I had to sit down and actually be like, okay, what decisions am I making that's leading to this, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm going to have to think about it next time I do it.
Are you right or left-handed?
Right.
Right-handed? Okay. Because like, for example, like I noticed, like, let's say I'm shading the skull, I will instinctually shade from the upper right to the lower left because that will be the angle my wrist will naturally do. So I can lay in like a two-tone ground. I can have a shaded area and a non-shaded area, and those lines will go this way, and it'll be very kind of graphical and flat, but very sharp, and it will hit immediately. And then it's where I choose to break that form is what will start adding dimension. So most of my lines will go that way. So I wonder, like in your drawings, do most of your lines start from the upper left and work to the lower right if you're shading?
I'm not sure. I rotate the paper a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got a lot of cross-hatching, so I might start going one direction. If I want to darken it, I'll rotate the paper and come back the other direction, just because going one direction feels more comfortable.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going from right to left, usually.
I never, you know. I don't want to mess up any screens, but I'm curious. I'd be curious later. I'm gonna go back and look.
Yeah, I do a lot of rotating the paper, particularly with digital as well, because you have so much freedom with it, because you can just click flip and it just flips it for you. I think with traditional, obviously I can't really do it with a piece this big, but I had a conversation with a chiropractor or an osteopath, and he was basically like, you move yourself too much, now you've got to start moving the paper. So ever since I've always been like flipping the paper around, moving it upside down, doing whatever, just so I can make sure that my body doesn't have to move direction. I can just always do the direction that I like, which is mostly like curves from top right to bottom left, kind of curving downwards, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to do curves that go out towards the top left corner, really. I don't know why. But, yeah.
That way. Oh, okay. Because you're, wait, you're right-handed as well, right?
Yeah, I'm right-handed.
Yeah. So I'm the only one on here rocking switch stance. All right.
You've got, like, the two combinations. You've got colorblind and left-handed.
I know, and bald. So it's kind of like a triple powerhouse kind of level of disadvantage, just kind of approaching life in general there.
Oh.
It's very much like, you know, it's like, oh, hold on, like I'll say some jokes. Let's, you know, we'll make this less awkward here, you know. And then, oh, you guys just wanted the shuffleboard table. All right, never mind. I'll see you later. No.
Is shuffleboard a thing? Is shuffleboard cool now?
No, well, here's the thing: is there's the shuffleboard people picture with like the old people with the sticks on the big thing, but then there's like bar shuffleboard, which is just like the small, like the long table inside of a bar.
Right.
It's like two different shuffleboards. And
wait, what is shuffleboard? I don't know what you're on about. I assume it's something you made up.
Old people
Right.
played on cruises.
Yeah, that's like there's the old people version, which is like the stand-up full shuffleboard thing. Here, I'll show you the version that I'm rocking lately. Hold on a second. Let's do some Googling action here.
We're doing chat.
Alright, screen share, shuffleboard, share. So this is the shuffleboard that me and Smokey Beard have been practicing to eventually take over the world with.
What is that?
So that's just like a full picture of the full scale, you know, how full scale shuffleboard works with old people and sticks on a cruise, but you're just in a bar with fellow people drinking and playing this game.
But what?
It's like curling, you know, curling.
Right. Okay.
It's like that. Just picture curling, but you're on a wooden table with salt all over it, or some type of whatever that. I'm pretty sure it's salt, but then I heard someone else, once say that it's not that. So maybe Tim, that sounds like something Tim would randomly know. So hopefully he can run in here and clarify. But yeah,
people don't rub the brushes like in
well, there's no brushes because you're just sliding, you know.
Rubbers.
In fact, it's, you want to be sure not to touch the table either because you'll mess up the distribution of the stuff, and those things won't slide as well.
So
you gotta, yeah, and you know you have to, like if you wanted to like put like more, you know, salt. I'm gonna say salt because it looks like salt. I thought it's salt. Maybe it isn't. I'm pretty sure it is. But if you want to put more on the table, you gotta like scrape it off the gutters, like with your credit card or driver's license, and then put it on the table. Like you're chopping lines of Coke or something. You gotta like pour it on there. Except if you're chopping lines of Coke, don't use your credit card because if you get pulled over by the cops, they'll see it in a black light. And or just don't do cocaine. Because,
I was gonna say. I was like, thanks for that. But like,
I'm not even a drug guy, but I will say right now that won't make your life better at all. There's you know, if you have to do a drug, like your friends are forcing you and you succumb to peer pressure, and you know, or you know want to have fun on it, that's the one you don't do. You know, there's really no benefits. It's too expensive, and it comes from the horrible shit that it has to go through to get out here. Like you might as well be snorting a bunch of blood diamonds up your nose. Don't even do it. But anyways, shuffleboard. So you're shuffleboarding, And the thing is it it has to be the table has to be distributed evenly with all the salt. And yeah, so I don't know if that game's like popular in places. I've seen it in a few bars, but all I know is me and Smokey Beard, we plan to really take over the world with this, and we're trying to practice weekly at it. It's a very serious thing.
Your stories always go on such bizarre tangents.
What are you talking about? Just talking about Shuffleboard.
You're like, shuffleboard, cocaine, it's fine.
I say when anything gets to the point where if you're just like a schlubby dude like myself, and then women come up and then are all flirty with you just because they want to use the shuffleboard table, like that, there's some significance in that thing. If people are trying to play with your head because they like, hey, I like shuffleboard, and these dudes, we can totally just get in on this game, they'll do it, and that just shows that there must be some significance in this thing. If people are willing to manipulate each other over it, don't underestimate the power of the shuffleboard. That's the only thing I'm trying to say with this story. You'll see. You'll all see. Anyone in chat want to share some shuffleboard stories? We'd be more than happy to hear them here on the podcast.
Shuffleboard's getting big in the US. It means it might come to Australia in about 10 years' time.
I didn't even know that. I would have figured that it would have been popular out there first. Like, I would figure if I was in Europe, I'd go, if I was particularly anywhere within UK region, that people would be like, oh, shuffleboard's not in every bar in the US? I don't know why. I don't know where it originated. That sounds like something Demon Man would know. Demon Man, where did shuffleboard originate? I'm sure you know about where. I'm sure you know these things. You're full of tidbits of wisdom that could make you dominate in a game of Trivial Pursuit. So I want to hear it.
And sorry, I'm like super focused because I feel like I've got my proportions completely wrong, and I'm trying to fix it like desperately without erasing everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix an eye that I drew too low.
I feel like Sean's ahead of us on this one because you're using the grid method, aren't you?
I did to start off with, just sort of sketch. I might come back to it, I don't know, it depends how much of a cluster this turns into.
It's smart, guy. I just can't be bothered. So do you have a grid on the actual picture as well?
Yeah.
To match up to it, yeah.
Yeah. So picture looks like that.
Nice.
Metabaron is asking if your Cintiq.
Sorry, what was that, Mike?
Metabaron's asking if your Cintiq is not working again. I think to clarify what's going on with the technical issues.
Oh, the technical issues. Okay, the Cintiq's fine. Well, as far as I know, I haven't touched it for like a week. It might be dead, I don't know. No, the Cintiq's fine. My MacBook, however, is not. It has an issue. You can look it up, actually. It's the extension repair program for the MacBooks for 2011, the MacBook Pros. And essentially, the video card, so the AMD Radeon, has a fault in it where basically the machine gets too hot and then it touches the logic board and then it just like destroys it. Like you'll be watching like a YouTube video and then the whole image will distort or turn black, or the computer will crash, or you'll hear the sound of the audio like repeating and then it go completely black on screen and you got like force turn it off, and then it got to a point where it would only boot up to a grey or blue screen. Like I had a blue screen on a Mac because I'm that unlucky. But this is the third time that it's happened because this is actually a known fault with the with the video card and the logic board in this version of the Mac. It's literally the one version before it and the one version after. So it's not like a whole version, but like a factory version. So the 2011 Macs are the ones that are affected. The 2010s and the 2013s are fine. But yeah, so it was a known issue, and I had over £600 worth of repairs already done on it before I just sent it back this time. But now that it's got a recall on it, essentially, it's a repair program, but it's basically a recall. They've built a brand new version of what fits into this type of Mac that fits all of the old hardware. So they're fixing it at the moment. I sent it off the weekend before the last podcast, and I don't think I'll get it back until the end of this week, really, at earliest, which is unfortunate. It was quicker before because they were just using in-store parts, but I think they have to like send it off or something to Apple because it's like a whole new thing. But yeah, hopefully it won't take too long because it's got all of my data and all of my software on it, so for the past like week or so, it's just I'm just working on traditional stuff at the moment. I've sent all of my traditional commissions off, so I'm just kind of a bit of a sitting duck at the moment. But yeah, that's the situation with that.
You've just been not having much luck with the technology these this past month or so.
Oh, you say the past month? This is like my life. People make fun of me on Facebook now because I'll just be like, oh, guess who's whatever is broken. Like, I broke my scanner, my Wacom tablet stopped working before, this is the third time my Mac has died. It's like, dude, what is wrong with, like, my life?
Something's after you, you know?
I think so.
I remember that there's like this crappy B movie. What was it called? The premise is that the like people's like electronics got possessed and then would like attack them in their house. You know what I mean? The blender would be unplugged, but then the guy would be like, I'm gonna stick my hand in the blender for no reason, and then it would turn on and chop up his whole face somehow, whatever. Like it's called like Pulse or something. Anyways, all I'm trying to say is that's happening to you. Is your electronic gear is after you right now, so you gotta like watch your back, you know.
All right.
I just want you to be careful. That's all.
I'll stick to the pens and pencils for a while then.
Who Died says that Google tells me that Shuffleboard was born in England. Sarah, you have some explaining to do because I was right, and you know this should have been something you should have been telling me about.
I'd never heard of it. I'm sorry.
Oh my lord. Well, it's good to know. It's good to know it's huge out there. So that way, inevitably, when you know the pilgrimage happens with me and Tim and Art Broken and whatnot, and we're running through Europe, that there'll be places we can play shuffleboard, and I can ask him what the hell if it is salt on the table. They'll be like, no, it's cocaine. I'll be like, I'm out of here. I'm not playing this game. That drug is for assholes, and I'll leave.
This is the first time on this show that I've spent so long trying to work out the proportions.
I feel like I'm kind of, I don't know. I feel like I'm making mistakes I make pretty common, which means I should probably switch up my routine a little bit. I gotta just be more patient. I think I drew the eyes a little too far apart again, so I'll have to take some time to fix that. How's yours coming along, Foxtrot? Is yours feeling pretty good?
I don't know. I never know. Mine always. I feel like it looks like shit until it doesn't. Basically.
So is your process to kind of do that thing too, where it's like you'll be part way into a piece and you'll be like, this will never work, this will never work, this will never work, and then it'll kind of come together at the end, or can you tell pretty early on if it's going to work?
No, never ever. It always kind of feels like a leap of faith. I'm consciously stopping myself from, bitching at myself the whole way through this outline.
Oh, yeah. You're like Mike.
Yeah, I was going to say, you do to yourself, that's all I do. I just...
Oh, yeah.
it's not to show that it's like this. It's not a matter of lack of, oh, I suck, boo hoo hoo. But it just goes to show that like it doesn't matter what level or where you are when you're drawing. You're always those first stages are always the hardest to stick through it because you're not going to draw everything right on your first try, and so you have to just be patient to get through those times when to get through the measuring, because looking at a drawing that doesn't look right is stressful. So you have to just work through it, Yeah.
And not being able to work out what's wrong, that's just...
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. That's smash stuff up livers longer. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my style's pretty loose, so I kind of feel like as long as I get the eyes and nose right, because that's where people focus, I can leave the rest of it looking like a bag of shit.
Nobody... You'll fool everybody. Until you ask for a critique and there's the one person that's like, hey, it's all good except on the mouth right here. You're like, oh, you bastard. Yeah. I'll never forget your name.
That's just why I don't ask for critique. Ever.
It's interesting, you can actually turn down a critique. It's really weird. I tried that once, and it was kind of interesting.
What did you do?
Well, I was like, I'm not happy with this piece, but I kind of knew what I didn't like about it, And then a friend was like, oh, if you want, I can give my 2 cents. And I just said, no, thank you. I just said no. And then they're like, oh, okay. And that was it. But it was like, because I don't think, like, you have to take a critique, like, after, okay, so if you mess up a piece, right, it can be kind of like that emotional moment, like, it's stressful, right? And so you have to, like, let that part wear off before you can go back for analysis. You got to let the emotional part pass. So I think it's helpful to be able to just say, I can't handle that right now. Like, give me a minute until, like, let me do one drawing that I like first, and then we can come back for critique on this one.
I think I often find that if I just walk away and I don't ask anyone for a critique, I just walk away, then like a few days later I'll know everything that I did wrong. And I'll be like, right, I can just correct that in the next piece.
And I think like critiques tend to seem to help the most when it's like a specific thing, like I'm struggling with this material, or why can't I get this specific thing right? But I'm finding more and more over time that just like these weird general critiques, particularly if you're not done with the piece, I don't know. I just don't think they're that. I don't think they're helpful until you've tried to resolve it yourself at least once first. Yeah. I think just doing a critique because you feel like you should, if you might not need it yet, like you might know the problems, like try your solutions before going to the critique.
There's also a thing where the person critiquing you doesn't know the context, so they don't know the rest of your body of work, which I think can be annoying sometimes, because someone will be like I asked for a critique a little while back on something, because I was trying out like a little more of a painterly style, or at least painterly for me. And they were like, oh, it looks like you've come from a traditional oil background, so these are the things that you should be trying to do if you're trying to go towards manga. And I was like, no, I'm doing the other way around.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of hard to try and preempt those things, and like, here is all of the background you need to be able to give me a proper critique. Sometimes it's more helpful to actually talk to someone who may not necessarily know as much art-wise, but they know you, and they know what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve, and they can go, right, look, I don't know how to say with the proper words, but this is what is wrong.
Like, that's, like, I think I agree with that, and that's the thing, is there's a lot, I don't know, there's a lot in it, because, I think the idea is just, like, in a critique, people will be, well, here's the hard thing, is it's important to ask, like, just a general viewer, a person who might not be an artist, okay, what do they see? And then you ask other artists, okay, what do they see? But then I think a lot of times people, especially if their critique's coming from another artist, they'll get the feedback, and then they'll take it into consideration. But at first you should ask yourself, like, okay, are the things they addressed important to me? Like, they may say, oh, I think this part didn't work for this part, and you might not care about that part. Like, and that's fair. I think as an artist you can be like, yeah, I don't care. Or you can disagree. You can say, I I think they might actually be wrong on that one. But it's good for the feedback, but it's, you know, I think a lot of times people forget, like, you don't have to get all, you don't have to take it all. And many times you should, because you got to get outside of your own head. But in lots of cases, like, you don't have to take all the critique and use it. It might not actually be to your benefit, and it's kind of a weird thing to think about as you take a critique, because usually it's the idea is you're taught, you know, pretty much where people say you're wrong on a piece, that's where you're wrong, but that might not always be the case.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I'm just starting to get into the mouth here. Slowly.
What to say?
I'm trying to work a little looser, but it's hard. It's hard to loosen up and just kind of go easy.
So, did we want to talk about that wall part thing?
The what?
The website that's stealing people's images.
Yeah, that thing, that is crazy. I want more info on that, because I had no idea that was all going on until you had made the post about it.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, it's a website called Wallpart, as in wall art but with a P in the middle of it. And it essentially, well, it looks like the way it works is that it uses like a Google-style search engine crawler thing. And it will just search images related to what you type into its search engine. And then it will turn those into posters for you, like it will let you purchase them, regardless of what they are. And then it'll clip it as a price, like $5.95 or something was the most common price I saw. And then you can purchase it and it will distribute it all automatically. Now, I don't know if it actually does send out posters, because there's a counter at the top of the page, the front page, that's like it's like a series of numbers, like this many happy customers, that kind of thing, right? But that's actually just a static image. It's just like a JPEG image type thing that's been put on the page. So I don't actually know if they even purchase anything. It might be completely a scam. I don't know if anyone's tested it, but there's been a lot of hate about it. Kotaku did a piece about it where they tried to contact the person who runs it. They discovered that the address and the telephone number didn't lead anywhere, but that it was registered with an address originally in Russia, but they tried to contact the person in Russia and never got through to anyone. But the biggest issue with this, essentially, is that it will just search any image, regardless of its copyright, regardless of what it is, and it will accept it as something that can be sold, and it claims that it doesn't breach copyright because the person breaching the copyright is the person who searches it and then orders it, not the site itself, because they don't have the image on their servers, which is rubbish, utter
wow.
rubbish.
Is this like the artist Napster happening finally? Like, are we getting the comeuppance? Is this our undoing? Is this the quote disruptive technology that that artist will have to deal with after auction records are posted online? Is the one that is going to hit the galleries now? Is the one that's going to hit the artists? The things, business models like this.
It's awful. And the thing is that like, I don't know how it works, so it's up to your own risk if you want to go on there and search stuff. Because some people were suggesting that maybe it only shows, like, the results don't exist until you search stuff. Some people were suggesting that. There's no evidence to say that. But when I went on the site, I typed the word geyser, which is a character from my book and also part of my company name. and it offered me Geyser ink and the Chronicles of Geyser before I'd written either of those in. So it was clearly using probably just Google's search engine. And then when I clicked enter on that, it not only did it have my artwork on there, so it had my prints, it had my artwork for RedditGetsDrawn, like the stuff that I've done on this show. It had advertising material that I'd used, so like posters and stuff. It also had artwork sent to me by fans, and artwork used by fans in competitions that they've entered. Like I ran a character design competition in 2014, and there was artwork of theirs being applied to my name on there and being able to be bought, which was terrible.
Oh heavens.
And it also had pictures of myself and my family, just photos of us and me and my boyfriend and stuff like that, which was kind of ridiculous. And it seems to believe that there were over 450 results under my company name on their site able to be bought. So that's kind of ridiculous. I've seen that a lot of the people commenting on that thread in the Artist Lounge found their artwork on there. And also, I found out about this from some of my comics friends, and they were saying that they found the entirety of their comics on there, like their entire printed comics. There were scans of it on there under their names, which is just ridiculous.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, if it's possible that people can be purchasing that, that's insane.
That is a God. The way people will bend laws for the quick buck. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You know, this is that's a hard reality. Like with the internet and having the stuff out there. You know.
There's been a suggestion from a lot of people that people should just start putting watermarks on everything they've got online, even if they're just like tiny watermarks, because it does show the watermarks. Like you see stuff from like Spoonflower, which is a like fabric printing place, and it's just got the Spoonflower watermark all over it.
I'd be concerned also. The fact is, like, you could have more so than even like art being stolen is people that want your art buying it from a resource that most likely is some sketchy thing that's going to like mess with their credit card information.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me the most about it, is it's almost like, don't buy it from this beyond what me losing sales. It will end up, there'll probably be some kind of corrupt scam that's going to happen on their credit card info once they enter it into that site. That's really sketchy.
Yeah.
And clearly doesn't care, you know. It's clearly not interested in in a legitimate business. So I don't know. I didn't even search my name in it. When I looked at it, I'm like, I don't want to type my name in because that might like put me on like a list that they're recording of art that might be in demand, you know.
Something that I think it was Pixel Bomb, I'm not sure, that a company suggested to do with this was that if you visit the petition to get it shut down, it knows that you've been on there and stops showing you results when you go back to their website. There's no evidence that happens, but a few people have been saying that they've noticed it.
If you're on the petition, it will take your art off of it?
No, if you won't see it, it's still there.
Oh.
So if you visit the petition in your browser, there's a petition up to try and shut this down in some way or raise awareness that it's not okay. Yeah. If you then go back to the site, you won't get any results when you try and search. That's what's been suggested. So it's still there, it's just you can't see it, so you think it's been shut down, essentially.
That's clever and kind of scary. How clever that is. That is really clever. I do not like how clever that is.
No, and the thing is, the entire website's automated. Like, at no point does anyone touch anything that's happening on that website.
I don't think anything's getting shipped from whatever that company is.
No, I don't think it is.
I think they're just looking for credit card information.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Eventually, Google will do a thing if you go to sites in a Chrome browser that are reported as being malicious. It will stop you from going to that site and send you a warning saying this site's been reported as having malicious software on it or whatever. Hopefully, that can get to at least that point.
Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, I thought I'd raise awareness, let people know that was happening.
And now they know where to get your art for free. No, I'm just kidding. That's what's it's not even for free. That's actually the part that doesn't work. That's not like a Napster thing, because with Napster it was at least free. You're still paying for this. So if you were getting it for free, that's like, oh man, well, you get it for free, you taking it, theft, would you download a car, blah blah blah. But this, you're still paying for it. So it's like everybody loses. You're not even getting free art out of this site. Oh, that sucks. That's horrible. But at least it'd be easier to, if an audience has an awareness, they won't use it. Whereas like with something like when downloading and torrenting came out, you'd say don't do this because it's stealing. But now people are like, I could get this for free. You know what I mean? Like there's that temptation. But with this, it's not even free, so it shouldn't be hard to convince people to not use it because you're paying money either way.
Yeah, the issue is only that it looks really legit, like it's got a proper logo and everything, so it's just trying to tell people, oh my god, stay away from this.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, I don't know, man, I have no idea. There's no way that site can last that much longer. I'm really curious if anyone's genuinely gotten art from that. I highly doubt it. Well, I did some bad topographic lines there.
By the way, if anyone listening to this is thinking about it, I would highly suggest not testing it out to try and get artwork.
Yeah, don't even touch it.
Because the risk that it just gets your credit card information and then you end up with like a 5,000 bill at the end of the month is quite high.
Yeah, they something. Yeah. Is it bad that I was really upset that I couldn't find mine on there? A little bit offended.
No one's stealing my art.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh, that's kind of amazing.
That weird reverse thing where you're kind of like, no, I mean that's good, but I just thought I was worth stealing. That's all. No big deal. No, I mean it's bad, but
Someone posted in Artist Lounge earlier this week about their artwork being turned into a tattoo on someone. What did you think of that? Like, they didn't make it to be a tattoo, it's just someone contacted them and said they'd put it as a tattoo.
Go for it, whatever. I've known artists that have had other artists get mad at them for using their art for tattoos. I think I might have shared a story on here about that.
Sorry.
Well, an artist that showed, I won't say the name, so whatever. But that artist that showed at my gallery had a tattoo of a character from another artist he really likes on him, and he went to a comic convention, and that artist had literally looked at him and said, I could sue you for that, and he thought he was joking at first, and he realized he was serious. Like, he's just a fan of this dude's work, and the dude was like, I can sue you for having a tattoo of that on you. And he was like, okay, and he just kind of stepped back and walked away. But it's like, come on, man, what, were you going to do the tattoo yourself?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't mind that, unless it'd be a bummer if they tattooed, something that you weren't proud of, something you didn't like, and they're like, oh, it's out there forever, But, in the end, I don't know, who cares? How much are we going to try to control? You know what I mean? I don't know. I wouldn't mind if someone tattooed. Except I don't think my art really translates to tattoos well. So I wouldn't be bummed if they got my art tattooed because you stole art. I think I'd be bummed because I'd be like, I think you could have just gotten a better tattoo that wasn't that, But
yeah, that's what I would have. I like making tattoos for people. I like designing them and being like, here are all the reasons why your tattoo artist will probably change this, blah 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 blah. But I'd be so worried if someone just went, oh yeah, that piece of art you made, I turned it into a tattoo. Because I'd be like, oh no, what if there was so much wrong with it?
Well, and the thing, tattoo artists, they're artists and they practice. Like, find a tattoo artist that makes art you like and have them do their thing. Like, you don't need to bring art to, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to bring food to the grocery store. Like, go there and find the thing you want and then have them do it, because that's what they do for a living. I don't design tattoos, so my tattoos would suck because I'm not a tattoo artist. You know, there's people that spend their whole lives working in that medium and field. Like, have them do something cool for you, you know? I don't know. Have you guys had people do tattoos of your art before, like on themselves?
I've had people ask me. It's like as soon as they find out you can draw stuff a bit, they're like, "Oh, I would love for you to do me a tattoo." And I'm like, "No, that is so not. No, just no." Ask someone who knows what they're doing.
Well, the hard thing is when they want you to draw a tattoo, that's when they start asking you to like do an elaborate drawing for them for free. You know.
Well, that's obviously.
Yeah. They're going to be like, oh, okay, so it'd be like a dragon wrapped around a butterfly, wrapped around a skull. It's like, I'm not going to do that, you know? It's like, did you look at the website? Does it look like I'm going to do a good job at drawing that for you? Because I won't. What about you, Sarah? Have you had people make tattoos of your artwork?
I've done a bunch of tattoos, actually.
Whoa.
And I've had people come up to me at conventions. I've had someone come up to me at a convention and show me the tattoo that was finally done on their skin. I've had 3 that I've seen finally on the skin, and after they're all healed and everything, and that's kind of the most crazy thing ever. But I have a whole ton of, like, they're kind of phrased like disclaimers, but it's just because I really care about the person getting the artwork. And I'll basically say a whole bunch of things about how incredibly skilled tattooists are and how it's important that they go to someone they can trust, and that if I don't think I can create a piece of artwork that suits it, then I won't do it. Like, for example, someone asked me to do a geometric style cross, and I was like, that's so far from what I do that there's no way I'm ever going to say yes to that. I say that I make references, and that's what I'll say. I say I'm not going to make the thing that will appear on your skin, but I will make you a reference, and I'll make it as at the quality of a final piece of artwork, so that I aim to be able to create something that they can hang on their wall and also have on their skin, if that makes sense. Like, that's my goal. And I'll say, I'll make the thing that looks really great, like, as a piece of artwork, as a standalone piece of artwork, and make it to the dimensions that will fit you. But your tattoo artist will be the one who turns it into something that is viable as a tattoo. And I'll always say that they're probably going to make a lot of differences. So what you're paying me for is a piece of artwork. You're not paying me for a tattoo.
That's a really good way to approach that.
Yeah, and I think that was really important to me because I knew tattoo artists and I didn't want to undercut them, but I kept having requests. And it wasn't like, hey, can you make a tattoo for me because whatever. It was people who were genuinely would not take no for an answer. They were like, but I want you to make the artwork. But I was like, but tattoo artists, that's what they do. And they were like, no, but I want you to do it. And I was like, all right, fine. So basically wrote like a massive like terms and conditions to do with it and sent it to every person who I ever did one for. And I'm actually working on one at the moment, which you'd said like a ridiculously elaborate drawing. That's basically what I'm doing at the moment. And it's A1 size paper. It's not actually A1, but I've got to use A1 size paper because it's the only paper that it fits within in dimension size. And it's a full sleeve from just at the base of the neck to the wrist, the whole way round.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it's like a very knotted tree with roots at the base of the wrist that then goes up around the arm and then turns into like the top of the tree. And it's very elaborate. Like there's a pocket watch in it, like the bottom is a pocket watch with a certain time on it. There's a dragon at the top and a Grim Reaper at the bottom. and then there's loads of portraits of their family going up it, but like as silhouettes.
I don't know how you can finish that in under like 300 hours, you know.
Oh, it's taking a long time, yeah. So I'm basically like showing them like in stages and stuff like that, but they're fine with it taking a long time. And I've basically given them a list of tattoo artists that I recommend and stuff like that, because I'm like, dude, you're gonna need like the level of, is not necessarily like detail, but the intricacy, like, because you can do detail, but you need to be careful about how you do it with tattoos, because you want it to last. So it's kind of finding that nice balance. But I always say, as I said before, the tattoo artist is going to be able to spot things that won't work as a tattoo. So the biggest things probably for this one would be that the tattooist would probably turn around and say, that works really well as a standalone piece, but you have bulges and movements within your arm, and we're going to have to shift some stuff to to match that, or like if there's like a thinner part of the arm and a wider part of the arm, you might have to distort certain areas of the tree, for example, so it still looks straight. And those are things that I would never be able to do because I don't have that training. So I tried to explain that they're going to have to do that, but my word, dude, it's like effort. Yeah, I've done a tribal piece for someone. I've done 2 tribal pieces, one for each arm actually. Because I did one for them originally, and then they loved it so much that they then sent me a photo of it on them and then asked for another one. So I did the other arm. I did one of an anime girl. I did one of a sacred heart with thorns around it. Yeah. And I recommend to people that they either keep the artwork, if it's a big piece of artwork, they keep it up on their wall for a while before they go and get it done. Or if it's small, I actually had someone who I did a wrist tattoo for, he actually had the picture on his phone constantly for like months before he went and had it done, just so that they don't start discovering mistakes. Like, as far as I'm aware, I haven't put any mistakes in it, but to them they might suddenly go, oh, actually I don't like this and stuff like that. So I want them to have that time with the piece, and they can make sure that they are going to love it for as long as possible. But it's a lot of work to get it right. That's why I think I'd be not upset, I'd obviously be very flattered, but I think I'd be disappointed if someone then said, hi, I got this piece of artwork done as a tattoo, because I'd be, not disappointed, that's the wrong word, but I'd wish that I'd had that chance to make sure I really tailored it to that person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. That's just like...
It's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah. When you see someone walk up to you and they're like, oh yeah, I got this done, it's like, whoa, what?
Are you going to get tattoos?
Am I going to get tattoos?
Have you got any?
I don't have any. Planning? I don't have any. Just because I'm like ridiculously picky. There's like only a bunch of artists in the world that I think I'd get a tattoo from, just because I love every piece of their work that they do. There's a lot of tattooists where I like standalone pieces that they've done, but I like artists where I like not only their tattoo work but their outside body of work, so like acrylic paintings and stuff. Like if I see someone who is not necessarily classically trained, but they can create classically trained looking artwork outside of tattooing, then that's the kind of person I'll move towards. But the amount of money you need to be able to get a tattoo from someone like that is ridiculous. So.
Yeah.
How about you? You have tattoos?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. They're friggin' awful. Oh, they're terrible. I don't even want to go into it. It's
you don't like it? What happened?
It was the 90s and I was drunk. You got to bear that.
You're not supposed to have alcohol in your system when you get a tattoo.
Obviously, I got Chinese lettering that I have no idea what it says.
Uh-oh.
Because that's what people did in the 90s.
Oh, heavens.
It's probably like a menu order.
Yeah, it's probably chicken chow mein or something. Yeah.
We've got a few questions actually. I'm just going to slide through the chat and see what we've missed. Okay, so Meta Baron asked, may I ask Foxtrot a non-art related question / personal question?
No!
I'm just curious about his moving to Australia from Scotland. If it's not appropriate, then no worries. So, yes. So I guess they're asking, like, what was it like? How did it go?
What brings you to Australia?
Work. God, where to begin? I was in the military for about 10 years in the UK. Yeah, I decided to get out, at which time, around the same time we were working with the Australians on some stuff. They came over to say thank you. I said to them, would you give me a job? They said yes. Yeah, so they kind of took my arm off. They were very keen to get me. So they paid for it all. The whole move across, and I was moving to a job, which makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that was that, and that was 7 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I was getting out of the military anyway because they were trying to deploy me a lot, and I had brand new babies then and stuff. So, and then I came over here and I deployed another 3 times to Afghanistan. So,
holy moly! So that like with the same kind of rules towards deployment works regardless of. I guess I don't understand technically how it all works, but you go there and then you're still kind of on the radar for deployment, and regardless of the job.
I volunteered for the last 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Stuff was different. I don't know. I could get very political about the reasons why I decided to leave the UK military, but I didn't feel that the equipment they were giving to people was sufficient for keeping them alive.
Yeah.
My
Sounds like
3
a
other
very
deployments.
Very
my 3
fair
other
concern.
were later, a lot later, when a lot of things had improved in that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I probably shouldn't talk too much about that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, it's alright. That was actually, I remember that being a very hot topic here in the UK. I'm not sure when, but a little while back. And,
Basically, a British aircraft blew up over Kandahar, and I had not long before been over there in one of those, and that amongst other things, made me decide to get out. So I moved over here as a civilian and deployed as a civilian, which is a lot nicer. They don't make you go outside the wire and things like that. But yeah, does that work?
Oh, moly. I remember Donald Rumsfeld being on when the question was asked to him out here in the news saying, hey, can we have armor because of bullets? And then Donald Rumsfeld said, he's like, you don't go to war with what you want. You go to war with what you have. And it's like, oh, that's great for you. Anyways, can we have armor? Because that's like a thing that, oh my God.
Anyway, that's how I ended up. And but all that finished about a year ago, and that sort of left a gaping hole in my life because work was busy and I was into it, and that's when I started flicking through Reddit and saw RGD, and I think it was Jen Pen Jen's picture of Florixia that was in the banner.
Oh yeah.
I saw that one and I thought, wow, digital art is cool. Need to try that.
So that's crazy to think that's what started you making digital art. Because I remember Jen Pen's drawing. How active has she been? She kind of would come and go in waves. And Florixia, we know her. I follow her on Instagram too. She's always making awesome art and taking really good photos for it as well. It's interesting to see someone actually start off who then, like a lot of people know your art, and to see someone that starts off and they were one of your big influences to completely try a new medium,
Oh, Totally. Yeah, it was like, wow, I will never ever in a million years be that good. And it's just, and seeing, because I think she put up like a progress video for that one as well, and just seeing how it was done, and that was enough to make me go out and buy my little Wacom Pen and Touch.
Nice.
And give it a go.
Did you ever reach out to any of them and like tell them that how their art influenced you?
I think Jen Pen Jen came back at one point, and I was like, oh my god, I'm such a fanboy.
That's same thing. I think I did that was with Jen Pen Jen, because he was like, oh yeah, and then like I think saw somewhere there was like they had like a trip in Utah, and I was like, oh yeah, Utah from their blood. They're probably just like, who the hell's this psycho,
That's it. That's what I feel like. I feel like, oh god, they're gonna think I'm mental. Yeah. Hey-ho.
That's crazy, man. I remember. Yeah, that's funny. That like puts like now it's like, you mentioned you've been doing it a year, but now it's like I know that the era when you first like went in there,
Yeah. I'm not sure how recent that one was, but I saw it in the banner, and I went to try and hunt it down.
That's so cool. That's so cool that essentially RedditGetsDrawn was like the inspiration to jump in.
Yeah, that's huge. I always like it when people kind of come and go, There's some artists that, I was friends with or that I've known pretty well and haven't seen them in a little while, and it's always kind of like hoping, like, oh, I hope to see them again, But, yeah, people kind of come and go in there. I haven't looked up Jen Pen Jen in a little bit. I've been out of the loop quite a lot.
I saw her pop up on DeviantArt not long ago, with a couple of things, and then went quiet again.
Get her on the show.
Yeah. Do you guys have a list of people that you want to get on?
There's people like I want to reach out to. There's people that I have reached out to, and it's a matter of like testing the making sure stuff works. There's one artist that's like we've been going back and forth for like a month and a half, 2 months. Like, yeah, no, we'll test out the thing, and then we get distracted, and then we have to keep coming back. Like, okay, seriously, we need to sit down and like figure it out. But and then there's artists that I want to get on the show, but like I haven't started networking yet. Like
cultivating.
I got to do the Artist Lounge equivalent of like hanging out at the Shuffleboard. Like, you like Shuffleboard? That's cool. Oh, we can like play to 15 or something. What's up? You know what I mean? Like I gotta work it in because it's just like, hey, who are you? Do art on this thing in front of people that like freak people out. Who's this guy? That's weird. So I gotta Shuffleboard theory my way into that. I should have paid closer attention to those girls that used us for the Shuffleboard table. I should have seen that technique. It's harder as a 32-year-old bald man to manipulate the crowd, It's like I gotta like, hey, what's up? And they're like, are you Dave Matthews? I'm like, no, hold on a second. I do art, So a little cucumber. I'm having so much fun with this piece. Nice. And Dead Painter started around the same time as you. They say December 2013.
Jeez, these shit hot. That means very good. People in Australia don't seem to get that. Shit hot. Seem to think I'm saying it's shit.
Shit hot? No, shit hot's a good thing.
I'm saying it's really good, yeah.
Subliminal Cucumber was giving some information about tattoos, by the way. They were saying, because Meta Baron asked, wouldn't too much detail not be possible for tattoos? And Subliminal Cucumber said, you would have to eliminate some lines, but it would still carry over pretty well. Too many lines would just blur together and look like a smudgy mess. Can also substitute pointillism for small detailed parts if necessary, or just use a mix of full black and grey wash lines. And they also said that, Mike, your line work would translate pretty well.
I'm listening. I'm looking for new career paths. Me and Smokey Bear were actually, he was over a lunch meeting, because we worked together, he was saying, he's like, It's like, I want to get a tattoo machine. And he's like, what if, like, could we do it? Could we learn how to do it and just start doing that instead of art handling? Like, I don't know. Because, like, you need to be, like, an apprentice to somebody and do that whole route, and seemed complicated. But I feel a little bit like an imposter because I don't know anything about tattoos. I don't have any tattoos. It's not like a part of my life, you know. So it's like, how do you dive into that? And then Foxtrot, can you tell us a story? Because they want to see your art, and it only shows you when you're drawing. I won't even lead. You should just tell a random story about something. But
No.
how about this first story? So you've been drawing. You've been doing digital painting for a year, and you mentioned doing drawing back in high school.
Yeah.
Like, so what's your earliest memory? Like, when did you start drawing? We have, people will always kind of think, oh, you start drawing. Like, it's not like I feel like with art, drawing is it's something that, like, artists just kind of, it's always in them. And it's not a matter of when they start doing it, it's a matter of when they discover that they always wanted to do it. Like, how was it for you? Like, what's your earliest memory knowing that you could kind of, like, it was something for you and it was important?
I always drew. Always. I mean, I remember at primary school, like early primary school, getting really annoyed at the other kids who kept drawing, like, all their heroes with really triangular torsos. You know what I mean? I was like, that is so not what a person looks like, and trying to do it properly and, with proportions and shit. I don't know. And then, you know what it's like. At school and stuff, you become known as that kid that's quite good at art, and people keep telling you you're good at art and all this sort of shit. So it just kind of goes from there.
It made you self-conscious.
No, well. Yeah, I kind of thought I was as well. I was quite cocky about it all. I didn't need to listen to my art teachers and shit like that. And then I got turned down for art school, so I went away and did an MBA instead.
Really, you got the business degree instead of art school.
I know. I didn't finish it. I dropped out and joined the military instead. I was far more interested in alcohol and vaginas than studying.
Sounds like you were an artist the whole time. Are you sure you don't play shuffleboard? No. That's that. Well, okay. So here's the thing. It's like, okay, so you're at art school, and then so it's like, I want to party. Well, okay, wait a minute. So how does the mentality of I want to party go from, I can understand it leading away from a business degree, but how is it that it's like, how about military instead to party? I mean, is the culture in it that,
Oh, God, so many. Now we're getting into family dynamics. I have 3 younger brothers, and so I'm the oldest of 3, and brother number 2 had just joined up, so I decided I'm going to be an officer, so he has to salute me. Just to be a dick, really. No. Did it happen? Did you make it happen? That and a love for Top Gun. Yeah, I mean, well, no, I tried for pilot, didn't get pilot, passed all the tests and everything, but one of the things they do at selection is they leave the bar open, and it's a mark against your name if you stay up all night getting drunk. So yeah, I failed that one. So they said come back and try again in a year. I said no. Went to the careers office again and said, right, which job pays the most money, but you don't have to be an officer for? And they said, oh, look at this one. So I did that instead.
That's the best story ever.
Yeah.
That's like such the lengths the lengths you went to keep the party alive.
Yeah.
No, I think that's the thing. I think I admire that, and that I feel like artists that they have that kind of spirit in them where it's like, when you try to like lock into a certain path, and if you spend too long doing it, if it's not creative, it'll just like kind of make you depressed. So if you can find like a release in what you do, it kind of spiritually keeps you going. So I admire that, because that's something I feel like I was always bad at. But So,
yeah.
I just wanted
Basically,
to
the key takeaway from that is I was a drunken idiot for a very long time.
You're
But hey, I'm Scottish. It's almost expected of us. So.
True.
what's the dynamic with your brothers? I mean, are you guys always competitive?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Are you guys only children, brothers and sisters?
I've got
I
a
have
brother.
one. Yeah, I got
Older
one
or
brother,
younger?
too.
Who's the
Younger.
oldest? You see, do you believe in this whole birth order governs the way you are? Because it makes a lot of sense to me.
I don't know. What do you mean? Explain.
There's all this thing. Number one child is, a rule follower and, strives to be perfect and all this sort of thing. And yeah, I just felt I had to be better and do better. Stupid, but yeah, there you go.
What do your brothers do?
Oh God, now you're asking. That one, number 2, got out the Air Force. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing now. It's a job, I think, in an office, just an office job somewhere.
Yeah.
Brother number 3 is a joiner, a carpenter. And number 4 works on oil rigs.
Wow.
In the North Sea. Yeah. And I'm
Did you
over
do
here.
it? Did you accomplish it? Did you win? Are you in charge? Are you running the show now?
I think so.
Does
Yeah.
the family look at your other brothers and say, "Why can't you be more like Foxtrot Oscar 23"?
I'd like to think so. Probably not. Very doubtful. Very doubtful. But yeah, weird. Everyone's growing up now, so
Yeah.
everyone's
Was
got
it
kids and stuff. And, yeah.
That changes the dynamic quite a bit.
It does. It does.
I think I don't have kids, but what I've noticed in friends that do is it does. The maturity that kind of because their life is now it's like they're about their children, and so the view of their past softens in kind of a way that's cool, where it's less there's less frustrations and regrets and more just kind of like a certain nostalgia to like, oh well, this person or this crazy time, but there's kind of it's an interesting switch when the brain switches from what seems to be their life being about themselves and about someone else, that they get that extra perspective on their own life that I always kind of admire of it.
Yeah,
And,
it's a strange one. It changes stuff.
do you feel that immediate switch when there suddenly was just like going to be a father? It was that thing where it's like, oh shit.
Fear. The sheer amount of fear. I'm not ready for this. I'm a child myself. Jesus. That sort of crap. I wasn't. I was 27, but.
Yeah. And you see kids, but then you see the elements of yourself in them, and then you're proud of them, and then a little terrified.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. My daughter's so much like me. It's scary. Right? Because you know all the stuff you did wrong, and the mistakes you made, and you see them erring towards the same thing. And you try to tell them, but they got to
learn on their own.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how hard that would be as a parent. Like knowing, and no matter in some instances, it's you can only guide so much, or then kids have to just experience life. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Blows my
I
mind.
have no idea how my parents did it. The amount of times I did stupid shit and keep getting out of bloody jail or something and drinking. And, it's just I can't imagine how shit that must have been. The fear. Oh God, Sean's going out drinking again. I hope he doesn't die.
You come back. I'm in the military now.
Yeah. And then I come back from there and it's like, I've got a rubbish tattoo. Yeah.
What does it mean? No idea.
No idea. It doesn't mean power bottom in Chinese or something.
Don't ever find out. Let that always be a life mystery.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to
let
know.
life find out for you what it means. Don't force it.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. I don't know. Like, I have an older brother, and he's a few years older than me, and it's that thing where I'll see myself, like, he'll do something, like, life will go on, and he'll do something, and I'll be like, oh, you idiot, what the hell's wrong with you? And then 3 years later, I'll do that exact same thing. And I'll always have that moment. I'll be talking to him on the phone, and I'll be like, hey, man, what's going on here? He's like, yeah, I remember that. I'll be like, you son of a bitch. Like, I'm making the same mistake. Like, not only am I going to repeat it just because I'm younger and at the age, but it's like I couldn't even have the foresight to not be stupid because I could have learned from your mistake, and I was too proud to, you know? Like, so I can't imagine with kids, you're just watching them go through things.
Yeah.
You know, like someone can have a son, like, how do I talk to girls? And you say, just don't try so hard. And then, like, you try to explain that to them, and they won't get it, you know?
No, never get it.
I could never tell if they like me. And be like, just be sure they don't use you for the shuffleboard table. Like, just stand your ground. But they'll never get it.
It's so true. Oh, God, I am just grinding to a halt with this. I don't know where to go next.
I haven't even looked at everyone's art yet. I've been so out of the loop here.
It just feels like you're going to keep going. It's looking good.
Who Died has posted a piece of wonderfulness in the RGD thread.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Maybe it's
So
time
I'm
to
saying,
share
like,
some art here.
It makes me want to finisher this. Yeah.
No. Oh, God. Don't pick it. That's a phrase. Okay, hold on a second.
I'm so glad that's a phrase.
I'm mortified that it's a phrase, but I completely understand why. And I'm not against it, really. Let's see here. Let's look at some art.
I tried to use the bit pen and then I got scared, so I put it away again.
I gotta go to a couple different threads here.
Okay, I think we've got a demand man page.
There's a lot of art so far already.
Let me know when you're showing it and I'll make sure it stays on your screen.
Oh God, everyone's really good. Okay.
Really?
fine.
Oh no.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. That's okay. There's a lot of art to share here. All right. So.
All right.
Let me turn my microphone. The Mum Man has a barn update. And we're going to start with the barn update.
Okay.
Of Sergeant Mary, the RGD mod.
Ooh, I like that one.
And he said he was, he's making the huge mural on the barn, and he said, with this case, he was sure that he waited for a day where the weather would be permitting, but the dew and condensation started to make a drip, but he was finding that he was liking that. So it's an important thing. If you let nature take its course, and then see if there's anything in there that you can emulate. When art happens to you instead of you happening to art, there's still a life lesson in there. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah, this barn's gonna be just nuts. Like when he has that whole side of it finished, it's gonna be awesome. All right, and then next we'll stay with a Damun Man theme here because this was the piece he did before the podcast started. He just knew that we were going to be drawing this, and he was on top of it.
I really like that one. It's
The
really
magical
cool.
wizard that is Damun Man. I really like that too.
It captures it so much.
His line work's just is so expressive, and it just gets the image, gets the mood and the idea there, and then just blows through. It's awesome.
That's upsetting.
Just throws that down. Then he gets.
In a good way, because mine is just sucking so hard.
No, it's not. What are you on about?
Crazy. That's how it always feels when doing the podcast. There's another.
And then I got all stuck into talking and I completely lost where I was.
No, now you know our lives.
Yeah, I know, it sucks. I'm like, what the hell takes these guys so long? But
And now you get why we're so slow. It's tricky. Yeah. It's tricky when you have to think about it and then draw at the same time. And then now you can see why it's extra evil when I start off each show by interrupting Sarah and throwing everything for a loop, because now it's just a stressful method to catch up afterwards. The my man's painting.
I think that's my favorite painting that he's done.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy in the palette of this one. Just goes down. He must have so.
I was just going to say that I really like the little sparkles on the tongue.
He must just be. He must have 1,000 paintings just like in his house. That barn is just a barn that's full of paintings and drawings. That's what Demon Man raises in that barn, is paintings and drawings. He goes out in the morning and he has the boots and he has the bucket, but it's not full of like oats. It's just full of art supplies, and he raises paintings and drawings in his barn. What we got next here? I have to actually look at people's art and make sure I know whose art's what. There's a lot of windows to sort here. Give me a second.
No worries.
It always is a little tricky when we're sharing art that might be people technically not watching the podcast, you know. But I always figure if they're in Reddit, and the part of the rules is, you can, we're giving a shout out to them. So hopefully, just gonna, because they're showing it to people, so why not show it to more people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here, we'll show Free Flow's piece next. Always has very expressive digital brushwork I like seeing. This is Free Flow's piece.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Free Flow 1.
I always recognize Free Flow stuff because of the drippy paint over the top.
Yeah, which is, it's always cool to see that. I like that, and they always have kind of the splatter effects and everything, and taking a lot of rooted elements and traditional materials and translating it to digital and mixing it with the things that digital does really well. I like how also around how some of the drips, like, they'll form the line, like here it forms the edge of the hand, but then it falls into the arm instead of going along the contour. Just kind of the little elements where it falls in and out of the form. Here it kind of mimics the neck and then falls back out of it again. That's really cool. Let's see what else we have here. Let's look at Who Died's piece. Gonna share Who Died's art on the podcast. Go to podcast the bar, sing a song till I can find the window. That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
And I love these. I love the separations, the kind of these geometric, kind of broken mirror kind of effect happening here as well. And then the juxtaposition of the hard lines and the soft lines. Oh, that is so sick.
How did you do the sort of glitchy bits? Who died? Was it the slice tool or something?
Yeah. Mention that. Yeah, tell us how you did that. That's unless you have secrets. There's no secrets on the Artist Lounge podcast, though, so you have to share them.
I like it when I see stuff and I think, I'll steal that.
Exactly. Cannot wait to steal from these people. I steal from these people all the time. I'm going to steal a bunch of Foxtrot Oscar's techniques. I'm going to steal a bunch of the Gamer Draws techniques, Who Died's techniques, and the Munman's techniques, and Speed and Spirit. I'm going to steal from everybody.
I'm going to use all your guys' techniques to become a big, bright, shining star. Drive around in my Ferrari, say I made it all up myself. Be like, yeah, no, this is how I revolutionized art. It was all me. I grew up isolated in a cabin in the woods. I came up with all these ideas myself.
I just had a moment where for like a second I imagined that artists actually got treated like that. Like we got Ferraris and stuff. I was like, oh, that world.
Did you not learn anything from the Lassen game when we played? That, like, you know, if you paint dolphins doing flips into a sunset, then you can totally have a Ferrari. And then you'll also lose the Ferrari really fast. So, you know, there's lots of lessons to be learned there. Next. I never knew how to pronounce the name, if it's Jastiute or Jastiute. Jastiute.
How'd you spell it?
Jastyoot. But they made 2 pieces, and they're both really awesome. With black and white on gray.
Oh, nice.
Really cool. Just like high energy lines. Just getting the image down.
Everyone's really liking that particular picture as well.
Yeah, that one's really, really done well. And it's just cool they threw out 2 pieces here. Let me load up the other one. I really like this one.
Oh, I like that one. I like all the angles.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to draw a face at that angle, especially when you're going just right on with the pen. Getting the eyes foreshortened, getting the angle of them proper, getting the far edge of the mouth to look volumetric and not flat on a angled head.
I like that it's got like you used the word geometric a minute ago, like a geometric form that kind of has angles and has its own life within it. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really awesome piece right there. Too much talent. And there's more. More talent. Wait a minute. Oh, this was sorry, I gotta look something up. There's another one, but it's in the Artist Lounge thread, so I have to find it in there. I got so many messages. Okay, here we go.
Photoshop has just dropped my reference photo. How annoying.
Ugh.
Oh.
God damn you, Photoshop.
Yeah.
Here's a piece by Gadriel. Gadriel? Not sure how to pronounce the name.
That's
But it's a beautiful drawing.
That's subliminal cucumber, isn't it?
Is that right? I always get when people use multiple names. I can't even remember names. One name for people I know. I'm still not even entirely sure what my brother's name is. And so when people use 2 names, it confuses the hell out of me. Subliminal cucumber. God damn! Look at those lines.
Well, they'd have to have good lines if they're a tattoo artist.
Is the what now?
A tattoo artist.
That's true. Whole life is tattoos. Idiots. Whole life is lines. All about the lines. I still don't know how you can draw such smooth lines when you're doing a tattoo. Like, think about, you know, at most drawing on a canvas. I'm used to that having a little bit of give, but I cannot imagine something like skin that just like pulls with you as you do a line. I have no idea how they do lines the way they do.
It must take a lot of training.
Training's not enough. I think there's magic involved.
That's the answer to all art questions.
Magic?
Yeah.
That's how Foxtrot makes his pieces.
That's
I was
what
gonna-
I've been thinking.
I was going to refer to you in the title as the man, the myth, the legend, just to like put that much more
don't-
pressure on you.
Do that. No.
What would you say, Foxtrot, is the like? What's the thing that that will keep giving you trouble as you're making art? Like, what's the thing that is that there's always a few mistakes that as artists will always make over and over again. Like, what are the ones for you that you never seem to learn the lesson?
Oh, I despise teeth,
Yeah.
and ears, and hair, and hands.
Wait, it was teeth, hands, and what was the other one?
Ears.
Ears. Hair as well. Basically, I only like doing eyes, noses, and lips.
And then just getting through it after that.
Yeah. Everything apart from that's an ordeal.
Did we show the Slam 9 piece, by the way?
Ah, Slam's one is fantastic.
Wait, did I miss a piece? Maybe I didn't. Hold on a second. Was it in the Artist Lounge thread or was it in the RGD thread? Did I show it?
It's in the RGD one. I think it was posted after you opened.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Going back. Oh, yeah. No, I haven't shown that one yet. Let me look at it. Oh, shit. That's awesome. Okay. Here we go. Oh, man. That is so sick. That's really cool.
Oh, look at that.
With the gray on top of there, too.
The gray's perfect.
And then I love those three vertical lines in the upper left in the background. Like, that's such a nice little subtle choice. And then you do another 3 lines in the hair right there. It's like those little choices of pattern. And then switching the tattoo from a black contour to a white contour on the darker shadow edge. Oh my god, those are such good choices. God damn you.
And actually, like, I'm just amazed at the ability to make that arm that's coming towards us look like it's coming towards us with so little, like, visual clues. Like, that's so clever.
It's like it's kind of like a graphic design kind of just, you know, shape of an arm, but then they somehow made it feel. I think it's just that subtle use of the shadow kind of gray there made it pop. That is so awesome.
And getting that shape perfect. Like, otherwise it would look wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's awesome. Alright, now I have to draw better. People keep raising the bar.
Congratulations, by the way, Slam 9.
Yeah.
Your Artist of the Month.
Yeah, that was so cool. So is that an every month thing?
Artist of the Month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the name would suggest.
Yeah, every month, and totally well-deserved, and Slam 9's awesome work, and it's a little cucumber. Holy fudge, that's sick. That is so sweet. It's hard, and Artist of the Month too. You gotta get you know, you have to have the quality, but then it's like the output too. You gotta be like really consistent. It's quite an accomplishment. I think my pen's running out of ink.
Who Died answered your question, Sean. I did horizontal selections with the polygon lasso tool, Control-C, Control-V, and drag it slightly. That's pretty cool.
That's very cool. Polygon lasso tool. I never use that. Okay.
Really? You never used that one?
No.
Huh. I always find it interesting, like, the things that some people use constantly and the things that some people, like, they'll never touch the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't touch most things. Photoshop pretty much scares me, so. Yeah. Never used Liquify. Never used that.
Oh man, that's the tool I'm jealous that digital artists have. The sweet, sweet, delicious Liquify tool. It's probably better to not be in a habit of relying on that. Or maybe not, I don't know, it doesn't matter.
I just don't really know how it works, so. better just not touch it.
Well, the way it works is if you make a mistake, you can just mush stuff around.
Oh, cool.
That's my stupid description.
Do you have like a little top tip or something that you do often that kind of like you either really enjoy or you feel really helps your art?
I don't know really. I just start with the big shapes, start with the big brushes, and then work in smaller and smaller. But that's pretty much common sense.
That's not common sense for the
No, it's not.
No, it really isn't. That's when people ask about oil painting, I've had to kind of explain that lots of times.
Yeah.
It's totally not common sense.
I find it's really hard to like move into that as well because when I work digitally, I work very similar to how I learned to draw to create manga and comics and stuff like that. So I'm very much focused on like, okay, I'll work on the line first and I'll colour in behind it, which is a completely different way of working. So I've been trying to teach myself to do that, to start with a big brush and then work myself in, and then do a combination of that with the blocking in thing that you were talking about earlier, Mike, with where you work from a large shape and then you work your way in rather than starting with like an armature and working out. It's a very different way of thinking, I find. It's kind of hard to get out of the style that you're used to, like out of the mindset you're used to.
Just trying to liberate the form from the block of stone. I'm just kidding. It's the cliche
Carve it in your mind.
Michelangelo always said. The figure's in there. I'm just trying to free them. It's like they probably made that up in like 1983. They probably made that line up. I don't know, maybe it's real, but I don't know. It was a lot of that though. It's things you don't really think about until someone asks, and then you have to kind of like look at your own process and stop for a second and go, what the hell am I doing? Okay, hold on a second. Like, what am I actually? Because it becomes so second nature. You spend so many hours doing it, you never really think, well, wait, why am I doing it? Because you just know you should, but you never thought like, how do I put this to words? Why shouldn't I?
I find it interesting how, because we all learn how to create art in different ways, like because we all had different like times where we were sat there drawing on our own. We all have different things that we either find ridiculously easy or ridiculously hard, and sometimes they're the same thing. And I find it like there was a video put up a little while back. That was basically trying to explain how to draw hair by using like a ribbon method, and the video was so convoluted in describing how it was done because the artists themselves, they were describing how they discovered it, right? So it wasn't really like a how-to, it was more of like discovering their journey, learning this. And the amount of like math and planning and stuff they put into it, and then I put out a video and it was like how to draw ribbons in 4 minutes, and I was just like, this is all I do. I think of this, and then I think of this shape, and that's it. And then I do that, but with hair. And it was like, I can't even imagine that particular thing, but I know that there's something that I do that I struggle with so hard that someone else would be like, no, what are you doing? Just do this.
I mean, I know it seems complicated, at least when I'm trying to see what people are doing with digital, it's really confusing because digital is this weird, I keep seeing things and it looks like just traditional painting techniques. But there's this element of digital that you'll keep coming like, because when you're painting, you get to a certain level and then you don't draw anymore. You're all paint. Even if you start with a pencil, you're kind of like the medium forces you to be all paint. But with digital, you can keep drawing. So with a lot of digital artists, they'll draw and then paint, and I'm used to that, but then they'll start drawing again. And it's really weird and difficult to bring drawing back into a technique that far into it. And that's something I've always struggled with understanding when I watch anybody pretty much work digitally.
I was actually wondering something based off of that. Sean, have you worked traditionally? Did you ever do any traditional work that was like paint-based, like acrylic or oil, before you moved into digital?
No.
No. Okay.
No, not
That's
at all.
crazy to
I
me.
never touched paint until recently when I got frustrated and put that thread in the artist lounge about how oil was defeating me.
It's so
It
crazy.
was bumming me out. Because
Because
I've
your
always wanted.
process is so traditional. Like, it looks so.
You have one of the closest processes to looking like a traditional paint technique, the way you approach it.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I mean, when I started doing these, I thought, oh yeah, I want to do line art and stuff because, you know, it's comics and and anime and stuff, and that's what I associated in my head with digital art. But then I discovered that trying to do line work on this tablet, for me, it looked like, you know, someone with Parkinson's was trying to draw the lines. You know, I could not get them smooth, so I started looking more at the traditional stuff. A lot of the tutorials I watch are for traditional stuff, and I just kind of try to apply it because I think it looks cool.
Do you have a favorite like artist or something or channel that you watch tutorials on, or a particular video?
Most of them are on DeviantArt. It's guys I follow on DeviantArt that that I watch anyway. They might post a tutorial for one of their pieces, and I jump on that, you know, like a tramp on chips.
This is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
What did you struggle with when you tried to work in oil? What happened?
I don't have the patience for it. I find it really hard to stop and then have to leave it for a while and then go back to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of an important part.
Yeah. So I might try acrylic next to see if I can get along with that any better.
Oh, acrylic's so much harder.
Is it?
I think it's harder. A lot of people think oil's harder. I think acrylic's way more difficult because you can't get like those blends. You have to work fast, and you know. Here's the thing, though. Make sure you have a spray bottle of water, like a hairspray bottle of water, with you when you're doing acrylic. That's a tool they don't talk about. That's really useful.
So I'm actually planning on having a go at doing some acrylic portraits as well. So I think we'd both be interested in like any little top tips you have, Mike.
Spray bottle of water. I find that pre-mixing a palette really helps. It was interesting, if you ever watch like Vitonescu's videos from back in the day, Vitonescu 108, who was an RGD artist, did all her work in MS Paint, and they're amazing. I don't know if you guys are you guys familiar with their work?
No.
Nope.
God, okay, let me pull some of it up. It's all done with MS Paint, and it is awesome. I think they made videos, and they're interesting to watch because they pre-mix a palette, and I struggled with acrylic until I finally pre-mixed a palette, and then went from there, and it made all the difference.
How'd you stop it from drying out?
The spray bottle.
Right.
Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to dig up some of their art. Yeah, they have some like some process pics that they would do. Oh, okay. So here's one of their things. I'll scroll through this. Does this have like a? Okay, it does. So I can share this single window. Screen share. All right. So if you check these out, these are all done with Microsoft Paint.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah. And they were, you know, they're an RGD regulars were back in the day. I believe they were a mod of RGD for a while in Artist Lounge. They have a bunch of
pieces that, like, things where they'll do like the step-by-step. One of the first things they do is they spend most of the time pre-mixing their palette to like 10 colors or so. And that was a huge thing when I was learning acrylic, was mixing a palette where you'd have maybe a warm and a cool, like really dark next to black, a warm and a cool, very dark, just shadow edges, you know, and then a warm of cool mid color, a warm and a cool light, and then a warm and a cool highlight. And you just kind of mix a palette and make sure, instead of focusing on those colors looking accurate, just make sure those colors all look good together. And then once you have that warm, cool palette of different values, only use those paints. Like, mix a lot of it and then only use that. Don't let yourself use anything else. And then make the whole painting, and at that point after, if you want to add more, you can. But yeah, they were always making awesome art via MS Paint.
Nice.
I love this piece here. This is an awesome MS Paint painting. It's one of my favorites. That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah, there's
It's so cool.
There's a certain energy to it. Here's a real beautiful minimal landscape they did. Like, that looks like a, oh god, I forgot the name of the artist. Oh, I hope it comes back to me later. There's an artist who did landscapes like that, but it's just next level work. So, and then the thing is if you mix a lot of paint and you don't want to waste it, so they sell these on Amazon. I bought these things, and so it's these little plastic containers. Now I use them to wedge up my board, but they're great for holding acrylic, and they'll make the paint last weeks in these little things. You know, each one has a little screw lid, and then you can kind of come back to it later. But I think just so much of it was having that pre-mixed palette, because you have to work fast, so I didn't spend a lot of time blending. That being said, you know, there's artists like Smokey Beard doesn't use a pre-mixed palette. He mixes as he goes just with matte medium, and his stuff's awesome. So, I mean, you got to figure out what works best for you, but for me, it was pre-mixing and then using the spray bottle while I'm mixing and on a palette, and just to keep the paint wet when I wanted to blend. And then just be sure to get some matte medium or some type of medium or thinner. They have something called open acrylics that Golden makes, and they dry slower than normal acrylics, so they give you a little more mixing time. But I don't know, the thing that was always hard that I found the struggle with acrylic is just that race. You're just racing to get the marks you want before the paint dries, and I really like not having to deal with that with oils.
I wonder if, because I'm quite lazy, I wonder if that wouldn't be an issue for me, because I wouldn't be bothered to carry on any further. I'd be like, if I have to wait for it and work really hard on it, like, not work really hard on it, but like keep coming back to it and keep trying and trying, then I'd just get bored of it and want to move on with something else, whereas maybe acrylic would suit me better because I'd want to rush through it anyway. Possibly.
I mean, acrylic, you're more than likely to do your stuff in one sitting. You can do that with oil. I have oil paintings I've done for RGD that I did in one sitting. You know, it's just harder because you have to really abide by the fat over thin, like starting with thin layers and working on top and having a kind of a gentle touch as you go. Because what ends up happening is with oil, if you work too fast and you're not careful, everything will blend together and get real muddy. And acrylic won't do that, but I mean, I just find the trick with oil to avoid that impatient thing is just be working on multiple pieces at once. Have like 3 paintings going, so when one's drying, you just switch to a different one, and then it kind of helps it stay fresh. And I'm bad at that. I mean, that's something you really need to take care of before you start, and it's hard to sit down and like prepare for like 3 different pieces at once and then start. You just kind of want to dive in, but it's really important to do that. But you know, you can start with acrylic. I just found that oil painting, I think oil painting is less stressful, and you'll get really nice, rich colors with it. But you know, they both have their benefits for sure. I'm always just going to go to oil though.
My man says that they mix as they go.
That they do what?
They mix as they go along the painting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you know, I mean, if people make that work, they make it work. Like, he's right there with Smokey Beard and that technique. I just found if I was mixing as I was I was always getting really sloppy palettes. Maybe that had to do with the color blindness too. But once I kind of forced myself to, once I pre-mixed the palette and then worked within that range, I was, doing palette knife paintings, and I was like letting the paint just be paint. I wasn't trying to control it as much, and that helped me kind of break out of a shell. So maybe that's where that technique's more useful, is kind of breaking out of a bad habit more so than just a general rule.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how it goes for you guys if you do acrylic, I really don't think, I think a lot of people get intimidated by oils because they're thinking of like mineral spirits, and you can't just like dump that down the sink kind of thing, and there's like the idea of the material sounds stressful, but really if you're working on a small scale, it's really not that bad. And the mineral spirits can be recycled, you get 3 containers, and you have like a dirty mineral spirits and a clean one. You clean your brush in the dirty, then the clean, and then you have one that you dump the dirty into and you let it sit. And so when you clean through them and you dump them in the containers, you wait a few days, and then all the nasty paint stuff sinks to the bottom, and you have perfectly clean mineral spirits on top, and you just pour that into the next container, and it's clean and fresh. And eventually over time you build up like a pile of that nastiness, goopy stuff at the bottom, and then you can take that to be recycled. But that's very rare. Like it lasts a really long time, so it's not too bad, really.
I have no idea what I'm doing at all. Like at all with paint. I think I haven't touched any paint in about a year, and I haven't done a portrait in acrylic or any paint really since I was in school. That's like over 5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. I've never had any kind of training with paints at all. Like I don't know what like a mixer is. I don't know what I don't know the thing that you're talking about with like where you've got to be careful about pouring away. I don't know what that is. Like.
Oh, okay. It's like, well, okay. All paint is made up of 3 parts. You have the pigment, a thinner, and a binder. So in acrylic paint, you have the pigment, whatever that's made from. Then you have an acrylic binder, which you can compare to matte medium, but usually there's some other kind of plastic. It's plastic-based. It's another kind of plastic stuff you'd use. Mm-hmm. And then the thinner is water. And then with oil paint, it's pigment, and then mineral spirits or terpenoid. If you're, odorless is best, obviously. You want odorless stuff. It's not fumeless, it's just odorless, so make sure there's ventilation. But still, so you have the pigment, and then some type of mineral spirit, which is the thinner, and you use to clean the brushes, etc. And then you have the medium, the binder, which would be like linseed oil, liquid, etc. And so the binder is the thing that holds the pigment together and turns it into paint, and then it dries and becomes a solid form. And the binder and acrylic can be different. I forget what there's like something like PV something or something like that. That's kind of a more standard acrylic binder, but you can use matte medium or whatever for it. And acrylic's interesting because it's very resilient and very flexible. Like they don't know, acrylic paint was kind of invented around like the 60s, 50s or 60s. It's really recent, and they actually don't know the archivability of it. It hasn't existed long enough to know how long it lasts. They just know it's going to last a really long time because it's plastic-based. So you could make an acrylic painting, and let's say you did an acrylic painting on canvas and it got dirty. You could just like wash it with a wet rag and nothing would happen. It'd be like wiping off a TV, Oil paint, you can technically do that, but it's a little more fragile. Like oil paint, when it's completely dry, you can actually clean it or take off a varnish with mineral spirits, and that's a really weird thing to think about for people, like because the last thing you think you'd do is put mineral spirits on oil paint to just wipe off something. But once it's completely set and dry, it's like acrylic. It's dry. Mineral spirits won't, completely remove it anymore. But just in general, oil's known to be more fragile because it's not as flexible, and oil paintings will crack, like when you look at old paintings in museums.
Yeah.
An acrylic, I don't know. I don't know when acrylic does that because it hasn't existed long enough to do it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to think about. But you know, how long's plastic really been around? You know.
Yeah, true.
I think it's hardcore market time. How's your piece feeling, Foxtrot?
Yeah. It's okay. Okay. We're okay.
You fit right in here with the with that fighting artist spirit.
I'm happy with one eye. You know.
You say you're happy with one eye?
One eye, yeah.
You know, the funny thing is everyone's going to look at it and think it's awesome and not think anything of. They're not going to see the things you worry about, but you're going to see them. It's going to drive you crazy.
Yeah. And I just don't even want to tackle the mouth. I did not think this through. There are teeth.
Yeah, teeth are always a little bit weird.
I hate drawing teeth.
I just mostly don't draw them. I just hint at some lines in between and then focus on doing the gum line above them.
That's exactly what I do.
It's all about that gum line.
It's so hard because you know they come out quite yellow, but you don't want to do them that yellow. You don't want to insult people and make them look like teeth are made of cheese or something. But
I heard a thing. I can't remember who I heard it from. Where they said that take the lightest colour that you're going to use in the picture, or like relative, depending on your values, obviously, and then use a tiny bit of blue into it to do the eyes, like the white of the eyes, and a tiny bit of yellow to do the teeth, and then it just like they balance each other out. I heard that earlier this week.
Who said that line?
Oh, I can't remember. It was, let me have a look. See if I can figure it out. See if I added it to my favourites.
Drokart just jumped in. Hello, Drokart.
Hey.
Hello.
Amazing art. Drokart's caricatures are out of this world. They're so insane. I love them. Maybe it's time to do some hatching on this thing.
That's who it was. Istebrak Art Instructor on YouTube. So Istebrak. Very good artist on DeviantArt. They have a very good series on YouTube, so if anyone's interested in learning digital art, their series is very good for that. I feel like if I had more time I would be doing this way more carefully, but instead I'm just kind of scribbling these flowers in.
Let's see here. Let's start doing some hatching. A little more ink in it. Oh God! I just grabbed a pen that's not black. Shit. Oh, colorblind. Oh, I just colorblinded up.
I can't even
Colorblinded
see
so hard.
where you drew.
It's fine. I can go over those lines. Yeah, right there. Oh, that's the. Oh, I'm such a pile of colorblind. I gotta get those sunglasses or those glasses that make people see color and start crying or whatever they do when they put them on.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, red. What if I started crying when I put them on? Should I record myself?
Yeah, you should do it on the podcast.
I should do it on a podcast and just start weeping.
Yeah.
I didn't know blue felt this way.
I'm worried if you're feeling blue. Actually, that's actually a legit phrase.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a, you know. What if I am feeling blue? Maybe that's just, maybe, you know, let's get through it. It's fine.
Be worried as well. I'm in your territory. I'm using your hatching.
You're hatching it up?
Yeah, I'm in your territory.
Sean Carter's heading out. They posted theirs on the Artist Lounge page. We will look at that in a minute and check it out. Thank you for joining in, Sean Carter.
Okay, guys. What
Yes.
art do you find the most fun to create?
What, sorry?
What art or like subjects or whatever do you find the most fun to create or to paint?
Since I almost exclusively do attractive women and bearded men, that's pretty much it.
Beards are fun to draw.
They're both fun to draw. Except I prefer my when I draw attractive women for them to be making hideous faces. Actually, anybody making hideous faces. The hardest thing to draw is someone just like at a 3/4 angle, just with a very straight look on their face. It's like,
Really?
oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I that's something I'll always kind of struggle with. Because there's just very little to, like, I guess maybe it's the technique that I kind of approach. It's very dependent on there being, like, different kind of gestural lines I can measure off of each other.
Right.
And if someone just has a straight look on their face with a foreshortened angle, like, I can't measure straight down, and so it's much harder to lay out, just to lay out all their proportions and make sure they all look right. What about you?
Me? I don't know, it depends what mood I'm in. I tend to naturally now draw ladies. Either faces or like hips I tend to draw a lot.
You're so sexist. Always trying ladies subjugating women.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? But other than that, it tends to be dragons and wolves. I draw a lot of them.
Oh my god.
I'm like a 14-year-old boy apparently in my head.
Dragons and wolves. Wolves like dogs and horses. Someone had mentioned in the chat earlier how hard it is to draw horses. And I kind of associate dogs with that too. I don't know what it is. It's so hard to get the alignment of the eyes correct on animals.
Yeah, I like drawing horses. I think I'm the only person who does.
Yeah, that's weird. You are. I would try to be like, no, but you are. You're definitely the only person who.
Well, I had someone show up at a convention, and they were like,
horse?
"Hi." No, they weren't actually horse. They asked me to do a commission. I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then they sat down. They were like, "Okay, I want me and my friend." I was like, "Okay." And I want me to be sat on a bike. And I was like, "Oh, okay, spokes, like weird geometric lines." I went, and my friend to be on a horse. I was like,
oh my god.
Oh, okay. And then I went, and I want both of us to be walking towards the camera, so that it's like front on. And I was like, you know what? What the hell?
I can't. I would have run out of there. I would have just packed up everything. I would have said code red, run the hell out.
I did it, and it took so long. I think I spent my entire lunch break doing it as well, because it just took so long to do all the muscles as well of the horse and all of the spokes and stuff of the bike. And one of my friends walked past, and she just looked down at me. She was like, "Oh, how's it going?" And I was like, "Dude, look at the picture that I'm doing." And she just looked at it and she was like, "Oh dear God, good luck."
How do you? So when you do that, do you do it from scratch?
Yeah.
Just out of your head. You have to, but there's no references.
There's no what?
How do you draw a horse without a reference?
Oh, I'll bring up like Google Images on my phone.
Not even then.
But I used to go horse riding. Like I went horse riding for like 11 years. So drawing horses is actually like all right for me. But drawing bikes is like the worst thing ever for me.
Horse riding.
Yeah. Because I'm an English lady and therefore.
Or a crazy girl because You know, they say horse
apparently
girls are the
horse people
craziest.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so you're nuts.
I mean, we've already established that.
Hmm. That's true.
The fact that I'm sat here at 4 a.m. talking to you guys, it already establishes that.
Yeah, you're out of your mind. Sean, do you struggle with drawing horses?
I've only done one horse. It came out okay, I think.
I don't even know. Like, what's like if someone requested something, what's the last thing you'd want them to request?
Camels.
What?
Camels. I can't draw camels.
Camels.
I can't believe someone's asked you to draw a camel.
How did you try to draw a camel?
Right, so when I was a kid, because I have no life, when I was a kid, I used to get books on like animals and stuff, and books on like landscapes, but mostly animals. And it'd be like A to Z of animals, the animal kingdom or whatever. And I'd flip to a random page and I'd try and draw one of them. And I'd try and like draw it as many times as I could until I liked it. And I did it a lot, like dolphins. I remember one day spending an entire day drawing dolphins in like different positions and stuff until I was happy with it. But camels, I tried to draw a camel and I could never get it to look right. I could draw a horse and I could draw like a sheep and a goat and things like that, but camels always looked demented, so I was like, no, never mind.
I haven't even tried drawing a camel. I don't know if I've ever tried drawing a camel.
I feel like at the end of this we should all try drawing camels.
I will do that in my own time, not recorded live, because that'd be trying to draw a camel out of my brain is just gonna look like someone defaced a Camel cigarette billboard. It'd be like, you know what Joe Camel actually looks like? That will look like what my camel drawing will look like. What I'm trying to say is I'm going to draw a penis with a cigarette sticking out of it. That's really what it's going to look like.
Who doesn't?
So, you know,
really?
that's what they all. That's, you know.
Oh, we missed a joke by Slam. Slam said, "What about attractive bearded women?"
Why not?
As what Foxtrot could draw.
Well, Foxtrot, you ready to try some new things?
Hell yeah.
Attractive bearded women. That's the next thing you're drawing.
Ginger bearded woman. That's, yeah.
Yes. That's the next thing. Who Died has done another piece.
Whoa, okay, hold on.
I just looked at it. It's upsetting again.
Is it?
Oh, no, I don't need to see that. That's the hardest thing about doing the podcast, is seeing everyone's like really good art pop up as you're trying to like think I'm a good person, and then you see their art and you're like, I'm a horrible person.
Yeah.
I mean, your value as a person is not diminished in any way.
Says you. Don't tell me how to determine my own value.
I'll still care.
Alright, here we go. Foxtrot.
Oh wait, I need to make it stare in your face. There we go.
4. Who died? Making another
Wait,
piece.
I'm gonna jump over to Foxtrot's
Oh,
screen.
god
Look
damn
at
you. How do you do that so fast? How dare you do that? How dare you make life this difficult? Amadeus laughed deep inside the head.
Dude, show me, I haven't seen it.
You're gonna be upset.
Am I?
Yeah, they just like throw that down like it's no big deal.
Breaks my heart, man.
Oh my god. God damn you.
Oh,
What?
wow.
What is going on in Lithuania?
Dude, look at
Yeah, seriously.
that.
That is awesome.
That's really cool. It's actually,
You talking about mine?
No.
Obviously.
Wait, let me jump out so I can see yours. Wait, I'll jump
Who
over.
died?
There we go.
That's Who Died. Yes, hers is awesome.
Oh, dude, yours is looking really cool. For a second, I showed the like zoomed-in version. You've got like all the little lines outlining where, I guess, the guidelines.
Yeah, let's zoom in on it. Oh, okay, it's not too much different there, but yeah.
And I was wondering, like, something that I find quite difficult to do is to work with both lines and like painterly objects. So like you're trying to guide yourself to where to go by using lines.
Yes.
but then you paint over it and you can't see what it is and stuff. Like, do you have like a little trick that helps you, or do you keep layering it maybe, or?
I turn the lines on and off. I don't leave them on. It's like a guide that I check every so often.
Mhm.
Yeah, I leave them on for a start when I'm doing the basic shapes. Yeah, and then I turn them on and off a fair bit just to check that I'm not making a pig's ear out of it.
Okay, that's cool. My arm's aching, so I've been sat here for like 10 minutes just erasing.
Oh my lord. That's the hardest thing. Everyone always raises the bar. They're always raising the bar as you're drawing.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that
Already.
Who Died's last picture you just showed, it kind of reminds me, like, there's another piece in on RedditGetsDrawn at the moment, like asking for pictures. It's like asking to be like a fire nymph or something. I was like, it's like a combination of the two RedditGetsDrawn. I like that. I don't know if that's deliberate or not, but it's pretty
But
cool.
did you say, a fire nymph?
Yeah, like a fire nymph or
Oh.
a fire creature or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but they were asking, or it was like a fairy, a fire fairy maybe. I'm not sure, but it was something like that. And it's up at the moment. I think they've got like bright red, like fiery hair.
Every time someone makes like a specific request like that, I just go, oh, yeah, and I just move on. Like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. That's because it's, I mean, well, you know me. It's like, what, you have ideas? I don't think so.
Draw me in a Disney style.
No.
No.
I feel like you're like, you know when people do like Photoshop battles and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And someone takes the main subject out of it and just leaves like the background.
Yeah.
You're that, but for art.
That's, well, and the thing is, I'll say that, the people that just leave the background, there's there's something there that connects with people. I'm very much like, hey, let's just take everything out of this. What do we really have in this photo here? What's really here? And then you just remove everything.
Get rid of the flying whales.
Yeah, and the castles in the distance, and the I had a post in Artist Speakeasy recently where I was doing some talking about landscape with Meaty Elbow and some peeps, and the thing was I was talking about a piece that someone had posted. I think I mentioned this before, but they had posted a photograph, and it was on the front page of Reddit, and it was like a photograph of a cloaked woman walking on a foggy beach. It was like very minimal, and everyone was talking, and in the distance, kind of in the fog over the horizon of the water, was like this kind of tower castle thing, and everyone was saying, oh, you should remove the tower, that's not needed, and then I said you should remove everything but the beach, and nobody seemed to be on board with that idea, but I stick to it. I don't think you needed the figure, I don't think you need the castle. I think the palette and kind of bizarre, ghostly nature of the beach kind of said everything that needed to be said already. I don't know why landscape always needs like these cloaked figures and barefooted women in them.
Yeah.
I don't know why it keeps coming to that. I don't know why every drawing of a head needs triangles or in patterns in the background. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why we need to draw so many owls. I love owls and they're adorable, but I don't know why there needs to be so much art of them. I guess because they're awesome, but I don't know. It's weird. Like when you kind of like running so. My day job gallery, I don't you just kind of see older stuff, but like the having like my gallery in Oakland, like you'll see a lot of art will get submitted to you, so you'll see a lot of art a lot. And so you'll see art you see too much. And so it's kind of that thing where you're just kind of like, oh, like you get kind of exposed to things that are starting to become cliche images, like very often, because you just get a lot of it all at once, and so you try to be like, oh, that's cool, but then you're just like, it's another one of these, I've seen this so many times. For a while, jellyfish was like the big thing to draw.
Yeah, I did a jellyfish.
Yeah. You?
Yeah, I did a jellyfish on Instagram. Just a little like watercolor painting.
I kind of hit this weird point where I realized a lot of art right now is like creatures and animals. So if someone's like, oh, I'm going to do something different, they're not going to switch it up. They're going to be like, instead of drawing birds, I'm going to draw lizards. It's like, you can draw things that aren't animals, you know. But it's a lot. A lot of art right now is animals and creatures. I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't know. I mean, a lot of it's cool, but
I wonder if it's because like portraits have been like the massive thing for a while now. Like everyone's like, you're not an artist unless if you can't draw a portrait.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like people's tastes are changing.
I mean, yeah, maybe, you know, maybe it's just kind of like this is. I mean, if you think about it, like you didn't see a lot of that art in art history, and you study art history. So maybe that's just that thing. You're kind of like, well, like let's get it out there. I think it also translates well to design. I think people associate themselves with different animals, and so there is a particular marketability of it. But also, I think it's easy just to translate. It's, you know, maybe it's when you're also drawing people. You're always thinking about specific people. So if you go see an art show and you're looking at a bunch of paintings of a bunch of different people, you're like, I don't know these people, so like people aren't really gonna buy it because you're like, who the hell are all these faces? But you see like paintings of lizards, and you're like, lizards are cool. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to. It doesn't feel like you're invading a kind of a personal space.
Yeah.
Like if you buy a portrait of a stranger, there's this portrait of a stranger in your house, you know? Who is this person?
If you buy a picture of a dog, it's a picture of a dog.
Yeah. Why are they snarling at the camera? Who is this person? The Mud Man, I did an RGD that the woman asked to be drawn with her dad. She freaked out and loved it. That's always a good feeling. And then he asked if Sarah, do you get your mail from owls? Right? That's how it works out there.
Yeah. Those flowers were delivered by owl.
Yeah.
They came with a little inscription that when you opened it, like jumped into the air and spoke it to you.
Do you know how we get our mail in the U.S.? Do you know what delivers our mail out here?
Eagles.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Actually, it is eagles. You're correct.
Does everything arrive by kangaroo pouch in Australia?
It does. Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other marsupials are too slow. Everyone knows that.
I was seeing some interesting things online, just different travel stuff on Reddit, and people were talking about how, like, Australians are like, listen, if you're visiting Australia, don't think you can just drive across the country. It doesn't work like that here. Like, it's way bigger than you think it is. Yeah, you will die. It's way hotter, and there's way too large of distances to get gas between places. Do not even consider it. And I just imagine how many like tourists are like, oh, how beautiful the drive's going to be. And after 2 days, and their car ran out of gas, and it's like 115 degrees, you know?
Yeah. Happens all the time. It's always on the news. Such and such went on a bushwalk and was found, 8 days later, surviving by drinking their own urine. You know.
Oh, God.
It's
and that's how they
became
Yeah.
But they became Australian because they learned how to survive. Be tough like all Australians are.
Yeah, that's a citizenship test. Uh-huh.
They leave you out there on your own. It's like when he starts drinking piss, he's a citizen. Then they're good.
That's it. Then you know.
Welcome aboard. You got the goods, kid. Here's your super fund, or however it works out there. A lot of super funds. That's all I know about Australia. Is it's a harsh climate and the jellyfish are really deadly and super funds have a lot of money. That's what I know about that place.
You're pretty much spot on. Yeah.
I don't even know what a super fund is. I just know that they're out there.
It's
because
like
people
a
with super fund.
It's a pension, basically.
Oh, okay.
And apparently, like if you own a super fund, I'll ship art to you at some point. apparently in my job as an art handler.
Okay.
Is it like a hedge fund? Is it like that kind of thing, or?
It's like in the UK you get a state pension,
Yeah.
which you get here as well, but not as much. So everyone pays into superannuation funds. This is about as much as I understand about it. Which then pay for their lifestyle post-retirement. So it's basically a pension fund, as I understand it. They invest whatever you pay them. Yeah.
Huh. That's not what I expected.
That's what I think it is.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm gonna believe the person who is in Australia.
No. I mean, that's like, are you sure? But I mean, no. I mean, that's really interesting because I didn't know what it was.
I mean, I could well be talking crap at maybe a different kind of super fund altogether, but.
No, that's really interesting because I had no idea what it was. I always thought it'd be like a hedge fund thing, and that's interesting. Oh, the number of super fund offices I've sent art to. Going, what the hell is a super fund? Maybe I'm not supposed to say that. I don't know. It gets weird. The art world gets really weird. I probably say a lot of things I'm not supposed to say.
I'm not having fun with this mouth.
I felt like I drew it too large when I first tried it.
I drew it too small. You see, I sketched it out, and then I think I drew her bottom lip where her tongue should be. It's like, so now I have to fix that.
No, I think it's looking good. I think you're just tripping.
I haven't even looked at you two, actually. That's just very rude.
That's usually what happens when we're doing the podcast. Drinking frog juice in the desert. Oh man, what are you talking about? I need to go back now and figure out what this is about. Is that wine that Punisher is drinking? Yes, it is. It's my cheap $2 Chuck Charles Shaw wine that I drink during each episode. I drink a bottle of, hoping that eventually they'll send me just a crate of free wine. Much as how I use the Pentel brush pen, hoping that they will send me a crate of Pentel brush pens. That's what we do, is we do the podcast, then we just name things we want and hope they buy it. I sure hope Moog sends me a sub-37 synthesizer. That'd be really awesome. What a beautiful synth. Boy, I sure hope they send me a free one of those. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
You could get sent a palette of something. What would you pick?
Moog sub-37 synthesizers. They sound so beautiful. Come on, Sean, what do you want a palette of? We can hook you up here on the Artist Lounge podcast.
I don't know, I have no imagination. Put me on the spot. Now it's really difficult and I have to think of something cool to say because it's on a podcast. Shit.
You're like, I really like Skittles. I don't know.
I do really want Skittles. Oh no. Golden Wonder Chris from the UK. Prawn cocktail, please, because you can't get them here.
Yes.
So upsetting.
What did you just? What was the thing you said there? What did
It's a brand of potato chips in the UK.
Oh God, that sounds good.
You can't get them here. Not in prawn cocktail flavour.
Oh, prawn cocktail flavour is the best, though.
I know.
Oh my God. Now I want potato chips.
Dude, I'm so hungry.
This must really mess up just your schedule in so many ways. Eating schedule, sleeping schedule. You're eating breakfast at like... Well, I guess if you ate breakfast when the show's over.
You've made a mistake there already, because I don't eat breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast is a hard meal to eat.
I find that it's never the right time to eat it, so I just don't bother. Because, like, if I eat it too early, then I feel ill all day. And if I eat it too late, then I feel ill all day. And it's just like this, unless I wake up and then wait the optimum amount of time, this is going to be a nightmare. So I just skip to lunch.
Yeah.
I just
No,
had
it makes
lunch
sense.
at like 11.
You know, in your age when you eat breakfast, it's kind of like saying, let's try eating when I'm not hungry. Let's see what that's like. And then
Yeah.
at my age, when you eat breakfast, it's like, you know what, I haven't experienced diarrhea in a while. Let's just see what that feels like again. And then, you know, you just go for it. It's like, let's put food in my system when my body's not ready to digest things. Yeah, let's see here. Meta Baron, the president of Nintendo, has died. The ambulance went, Wii U, Wii U, Wii U.
Did you actually?
Oh, no.
Did that just happen just then?
I
Did
am
you just make that joke on this show?
I'm so happy that they wrote that. That's horrible. Too soon? I don't know. The day of too soon.
I was so upset.
I know that was oh my god.
It's such a fun.
Nintendo goes back. That's just like that's deep roots right there. I don't know though. Like sometimes it's like, are we hanging on to, you know, this is not related, obviously, you know, etc. But Nintendo has a bizarre role, I feel like, in the video game world now. You know what I mean? Like people don't really associate it with consoles, and they don't, you know, obviously it's not PC. It like has its own bizarre place.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's kids, and with older people it's nostalgia. But like, what's Nintendo's role in the game world? Like people who are gamers will always have a lot of respect for it, and they'll always talk about Smash Brothers, and I'll never know what the fuck they're talking about.
I feel like Nintendo is kind of like the heart of the gaming world. Like so much stuff is so serious, but Nintendo, you know what you're getting. You know you're getting like Zelda, Smash Brothers, Mario, and it's just kind of fun, and it's just all about being fun, and it's the kind of things that you can enjoy yourself and with your kids and with your friends, like, and with your parents. That your parents will play like the Wii Sports and stuff like that. Like the kind of thing that transcends generations, I think.
I do play Wii bowling with my mom because she has a Wii, and we go over there and we play it. Can I give a bit of advice? Is when you make your Mii characters, just be sure to update them frequently. Last time went over to my mom's place, we hadn't hooked up her Wii in years.
Okay.
We literally hooked it up, and then there was me, my brother, and my mom, and then all of our exes.
Oh,
it was like, oh, this is so awkward. Like it was that immediate, like, I remember those days. It's like, well, now I have to pick up my ex and drop them in the trash. You know, like it was a really weird moment. You know what? It was a little cathartic, and it was a little funny, and it was a little like, oh, you know, a very strange, a moment you don't expect to have when you turn on a game console, to say the least. So, you know, just be sure, you know, if you get dumped or do the dumping, just be sure to throw away the Wii U characters accordingly soon after, because it's a weird to run into years later.
I'm just going to step away for a second and throw some dinner in for children.
Yep.
Hang on.
If I broke up with my boyfriend, then I'd have to figure out what to do with our Animal Crossing town, and that concerns me. Like, he's fully integrated into that town now.
No, yeah, that's the... Oh. That's the story of life right there, you know? Like, what happens to the Animal Crossing town? I think it just goes with the, you know, whatever the court decides. You know, it's like, okay, you have visitation rights, and you will own this real estate in your Animal Crossing town, and your seashell fishing business belongs to you, you know?
We've actually split the town in half, and I've been like, right, you get that beach, and you get this bit of trees, and I get the rest. So that, like, any one time that we log on, we know that our bit is clear to be able to make money. That's an issue.
Yeah. I haven't played Animal Crossing since I just have the original Nintendo. I have the DS Lite, you know.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, oh my god, they had the Korg DS. It was like they had this little synth thing for the DS that was so amazing. Oh my god, how awesome. Hidden gems on there. Hotel Dusk, that's an awesome game that people didn't really talk about as much as they should have. Did you play Hotel Dusk?
No.
Oh, how dare you. It's very, it's like a slow narrative adventure game, but I just kind of fell in love with it because it all takes place in a motel in the desert. And so, like in the, the U.S. desert, I was like, oh my god, they made this game for me. I got so wrapped into it. I don't even remember how it ends. Which is awesome. That means I should just play it again.
Yeah, you can experience it again.
Oh, so good. So good. Stupid, boring games. I do have Animal Crossing for that, yeah, and I remember just being like, I can see this eating up my whole entire life.
He does do that. The
It's
thing
really
was,
cool.
my brother got it for me for Christmas, because I got the 3DS.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You'll like this," and I was instantly addicted. I played it every single day. Why are all of my black pens running out? This is an issue. There we go. There's one that works.
Oh shit!
What?
We got the tin piece.
Yay!
Oh,
Let's see.
Yeah, right here.
Let's see.
Oh, it's so nice.
Oh, look at it!
It's so pretty.
No,
They always
So
are
it's just
so
like-
pretty.
Yeah.
it was so like smoothly rendered. I always tell him he draws like a girl, and that is, a statement I use to offend just everybody, really, because it's not 2015. It's not a thing you say about art anymore. But there's just some things like when a girl writes a note, when it's a girl's handwriting. You'll always know.
I heard, and I don't know how factually correct this is, maybe someone can correct me,
Mm-hmm.
but I heard that the reason for that is that generally women start to get finger dexterity earlier than men, like in the developmental process. I have no source. I don't know how true that is. But I heard that was the reason.
Women get finger dexterity earlier than men.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Is this like around the age 15, 16?
I don't know. It was quite young, I think. I think it was like when.
I don't want to go down the road.
Oh, you're making a joke there.
But I don't know. I joke with friends. It was because like in school, girls would write notes to each other, like a lot of notes, and so I always just assumed they had better handwriting practice. I don't know what it is, but I do feel like when it comes to handwriting and contour drawing and just line work, that just generally making just a total unfair generalization that when I one day become a grandpa, my grandkids will get really quiet around when I say this, but that just women do it better. They have some kind of line work. They know how to do it. It's just smoother lines. It always was. And it's a very backwards thing to think about people because blah, 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 but it's just how I feel. So, I don't know where it comes from. But let's face it, if we had to, if there's a room, right, of 20 people, and, you had to be like, hey, it's 10 men and 10 women, and you have to pick who has the best handwriting, are you really going to pick, are you really going to pick like a 50-50? Are you going to pick like, oh, no, I think the 10 guys are going to win, No. Really quiet after I posed that
Sorry.
hypothesis.
Sorry, I was focusing. I can't really
yeah.
get able to see this. I'll move it. There we go.
Come on now, let's force the big issues. Sarah, do you think women have general better line control and better handwriting than men?
I don't know. No, this is a serious answer. I genuinely don't know. I don't know either way. I don't know if that's a true statement in general or if it's not. I simply haven't paid enough attention. I do think that you can generally tell, especially with young people. I think it changes as people grow up because people get like lazy and stuff like that with writing, and it all kind of merges into a very similar type of writing. But I do think when you see like 12-year-olds writing, like 12 to 15-year-olds writing, I think you can tend to guess. But I think it's more based on the kind of little flares that either side would do. So when I was in school, I don't know if it's still a thing at the moment, but when I was in school, a lot of girls had very round handwriting. And they tend to, you know, where you dot the I, they tend to draw a little O for the little dot.
Yeah.
And that was just like a little fad that went through our school. I don't know if it was a general thing everywhere, but that was a
No,
little
I was
fad.
out here too.
Yeah.
Sometimes little hearts.
Yeah, we didn't really have the little hearts, but we had the little O's. So I think you can kind of tell if you have like a large selection because you can figure out what the fads at the time are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely such a thing, I think, as like feminine handwriting, and you can say that lines and things are, and it has. I mean, sadly, I mean, obviously it's rooted in stereotypes, but I do think there is such a thing as masculine and feminine lines, you know, in art when it comes to that degree, only because the definition of it would be rooted in older stereotypes. So it's not that. Maybe it's not so much as that a person draws a particular way based on a gender thing, but that there is but the definition you would use, because the stereotypes are still in place, you could describe line work as feminine or masculine.
Right. I've literally never heard anyone describe artwork as either feminine or masculine, ever.
Oh, I mean, don't you think, though, like, if you looked at art, do you think, like, if you're walking through a museum, do you think you could point out which art was done by women and which was done by men?
I don't think I could, but I seem to have a knack for picking up on which art is done by women. So I don't naturally do it, and I don't think I could ever point out that was by a man, that was by a woman. I genuinely don't think I could. But when I was at the Affordable Art Fair, every time I asked about a piece, like 90% of the time, it was a woman who created it. And I don't know what that means.
Interesting.
I don't know if that means that there were more women artists at this event, or if it was a coincidence, which is highly likely, or if I was naturally drawn to a certain thing that maybe women are more likely to do. I don't know.
Or, like, maybe there's just kind of a more, like, an association with the style of the art that could, like, speak to the nature of, you know, being a woman or being a man. You know what I mean? I feel like I could maybe tell.
It was pretty girls.
I think I could. Pictures. You know, I think if it was drawings, if you had a show and, you know, it was 20 artists and 10 were women and 10 were men, and there was paintings, one set of paintings, one set of drawings, those rules, I think I could predict the drawings better than the paintings. But maybe not. I don't know. I've never tried. I have no idea. This could be completely ridiculous. But I tend, any rules that seem to apply to handwriting, I tend to wonder if it translates over to art for some reason.
Yeah, I wonder the same thing. Like, especially with the whole style thing. With the fact that everyone has like a natural handwriting, so does that mean everyone has a natural style? That kind of thing.
Yeah. What about you, Sean?
I always get surprised when I'm looking at RedditGetsDrawn, because you don't know the gender of the person that does the art a lot of the times, and I'm always, not always, but quite often I'm surprised because I imagine, oh, it's definitely a dude that does this way, and it turns out, you know, it's a girl, and it's like, wow, okay, weird.
That happens a lot. In fact, we referred to you as she a number of times in this podcast, not knowing.
It's all right. Quite enjoyed it.
It's
nice.
That's a fun. I mean, well, that's a thing that actually is like, you know, that's happened a lot. I don't know anything about people when I reach out to them in here. Like when I contact people for the podcast, I have no idea like who they are, what their gender is, what their background is. You know, could be anything. You know, it's like no. But I've actually been really surprised, particularly what's been really awesome with RedditGetsDrawn is how varied of backgrounds people have in there.
Yeah.
From the
It is,
people
it's
I've learned and met,
diverse.
very diverse. Had no idea. And even among the friends I've met in RedditGetsDrawn is a super diverse audience. Enough to where even the conversation I just had about men and women's drawings would be really awkward with everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go into it anyways because, I don't care. Who knows? Only because I bring up things that I'm pretty positive I'm wrong about, because it's exciting to be wrong. But it's a super diverse audience. I've seen people like try to make, like people who are trolling, like try to make accusations like, oh yeah, it's probably just a bunch of blur, in here. And then it's like that thing where you're just like, you couldn't be more wrong. Like there is so many people from so many different backgrounds in here, like different countries, ethnicities, different, genders and preferences. It is all over the map, which has been really inspiring because you get different approaches to art from all sorts of different cultures. It's really awesome. Let me see here. Sarah, who died and Mummy, I want to see your artwork up close.
Okay. Let me make it so it stays on my screen.
The Man, yes, women have way better handwriting. I'm with you, the Man. I think we're old
There you go. Oh, wait, there we go. I'll do like a pan. So I've done like the tattoo flowers like in the front and the back, and then I'm working on shading the face at the moment. It's really hard to show this because the camera's awkward, but whatever. Hey, you can see my face. There we go.
That is looking so good. Oh, goddamn you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. It's large, too.
Huh?
Ah, I missed it.
It's large, too.
Oh, wait, I'll bring it back. Yeah, it's like ridiculously big. It's just so that it shows up properly on the camera because I haven't got like a proper setup at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's the close up.
That's cool. Very jealous.
I'm having fun with it, but I'm also starving hungry, which I feel like is impeding my progress.
I've got small people holding up signs to me saying, "Are you done yet?" So.
Oh heavens! Maybe we're getting the end to the end here for our round. Drogart says, Iwata's death hit me harder than I thought it would. Probably because I realized he worked on tons of games from my childhood. That said, I'm pretty sure I also had to throw away me's of my exes. That's a common thing. You have to throw away the characters of your exes at some point. That's just a step of growing up, I guess. I think I'm satisfied with I think I'm gonna actually like my piece. That feels good. Oh, I gotta still go to that concert tonight. What time did it start? 9. That's the opening band.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, it all went completely dead for a second there.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on? I thought I'd broken it somehow. Oh, guys, I'm at that stage in a drawing where, like, I know if I carry on, it'll make it look really good. Like, if I just have some patience and I carry on, it'll look really cool. It's
just late and you're tired.
Yeah.
I'm in that weird part where, like, I know... Oh, man, how do I want to do this? But, like, I'm at that thing where I kind of, like, know that, like, the piece could be pretty awesome, but I bought tickets to that show. I should probably go to it. I don't know. Should I skip it? It's shellac. They're like my Rolling Stones.
It's alright, we can wrap up in a minute because we were supposed to wrap up about 10 minutes ago, so.
I can't believe the show's already over. Alright.
It's a quick one.
It always feels fast when you're rocking and rolling in it. I gotta look at Foxtrot Oscar. I gotta look at your piece here.
I'll make it.
You gotta tell a story so we can see your artwork for a while.
It's alright, I can make it force over.
Oh, that's right. We know how to do that now.
I have the technology. I really like the little wrinkles on her nose that you captured there.
Drawing a line all
I think I'm just
Oh, shit! Oh, sorry.
Finish it up.
That's looking awesome.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to soften up the edges, prat about the colours a little bit in layers, and that's me done.
Do you use any like fancy brushes or anything?
Am I still on the big screen?
Yeah.
So the main one I use is this. You see that?
Okay.
What's that called? If that went kind of quick, what was that brush called?
Darrow's special regular version. So this was a brush pack I got from an artist called Darrow's. Can't remember his proper name. On DeviantArt, it's free. And I would say I use that one more than any others. And when I go to do soft edges, this is Kyle Webster's Megafink. And I use, where is that? No, big wide softy.
Huh. And then you just kind of vary up the sizes a bit?
Yeah, and just move the size up and down.
What brush do you use when you just kind of are doing the drawing elements? Just the round brush, or?
Just the sketchy bit. Yeah, just the default hard round.
Huh.
I play with the opacity and the flow a bit as well.
I
don't like having it too high. So if you keep it low, I kind of feel like it does the blending for you a little bit.
Yeah. I was wondering if you could flick through the layers.
Yeah. So that's my sketchy layer. Hang on. Taking my way. Yeah. So sketchy layer, background colors, some shoulders, vest, face. I did most of the face on just the one layer, so that's just over the top, tidying up. And this is the layer where I'm just going to soften stuff up.
Cool.
That's
Do you,
so nice.
Do you prefer to work on as few layers as possible?
No, I usually do more layers than that. I don't know why
okay.
I sat on one layer today. No, I usually use more than that, just in case, just as a safety net.
Yeah.
How do you usually work your palette?
I have a fairly standard couple of palettes I use. I downloaded from a guy, well, can't remember his name. His website's called idrawgirls.com.
Oh yeah, I know the one.
It's really good. So I use that. I might, if it's not working for me, I'll just adjust it in color balance, and then start color picking from it when I feel it's close to what I want. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense?
Totally. I really love how kind of like open source digital art is. You know how people can share, you can share direct palettes and brushes. Like so instead of like traditional, you'll look at a palette and then you have to try to match it, but with a brush. But with digital, it can be like, here's a cool technique I got, and you can just kind of dive right in. And so the acceleration of the skill level is just like so heightened because you can immediately like kind of touch that the thing that the person's trying to show you, and then you can take it to that next level, and then you can share that, And that I just feel like art has this potential to keep hitting these new levels, much like any influence of technology, even faster, because it's so fast to share experiences and ideas.
I think that's why I've always shied away from traditional painting over digital. Like, I really enjoy digital, but I get scared of traditional painting. And it's just because it's so much like hoarding of techniques, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, oh, if you haven't been classically trained, then you'll never be able to understand this. Whereas everything to do with digital, a lot of it is like, well, here's everything I know. Now try and use it.
I love that part of it. I love that there's fewer secrets.
Yeah.
I think that's so great. I think that's such an amazing part of the community of digital artists. They don't have to hold on to like secrets for whatever stupid reason. You can just be like, here's how you do this. Now take it to the next level. You know, and they keep pushing each other. So that's the way you're supposed to. That just feels like the way you should do art.
I think it also helps that, like, digital art's always been something that kind of the fine art world has, like, not necessarily been against, but there's always been this weird little, like, battle going on.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of created this thing where, like, people who had to study traditional have had to go through art school, which is a massive expense, both in time and in physical money. And it isn't as strong with digital. There are, like, a ton of amazing digital art schools, but it doesn't feel like you have to go through that. So it doesn't feel like you're losing as much if you share what you learn, if that makes sense. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It doesn't feel like, well, that piece of knowledge cost me £10,000.
Yeah, like, I don't want to just give it away. I had to go through all this to get it. Why would I? But I think that's like, I think people need to let go of that mentality. And as like a traditional artist myself, I would suffer from all sorts of different kind of jealousies and insecurities of like, oh, well, people can just do this, but like I had to go through this. Why do they just? But then you have to get over that part because you realize that like art's just like it's a bigger picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're on a team. Like everybody's like on a team together. It's not just you versus all. I mean, they try to teach you that in the art world. It's you versus everybody else for your stake and whatever. But it's like, you know, as artists, it's not about the business. You know, like we're all on a team, kind of exploring this very nebulous idea. I don't know. People need each other.
Everyone has their own audience as well. Like I see it at conventions a lot, where new people will show up thinking that they're in competition with, like, direct competition with the people around them, and then you see how different everyone is to each other. That everyone has their own little group of fans that move around them, and as long as you can make it so that those fans can see you, then everyone has their own place in the art world.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no reason for it to be like a little fighting thing.
Oh, I was asked to show my painting or my drawing flat here. Let me flatten it out for the camera so people can see it a little better without all the distortion. So
that's really cool.
Thank you.
I love the way that you do hair. It's something I've noticed a lot, like where you kind of make the negative space speak more than like whatever lines you put in.
It helps me kind of think of the hair still as a like drapery and as shapes. I always try to think of the hair as drapery. So if I do the negative space first, I have to address it as a form as opposed to a bunch of stringy lines. So it always kind of helps with that. So large. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this one tonight. If I have to submit it tomorrow night, because I got that show.
Chat, do you have any last questions, and then we'll start wrapping up? Obey My Brain just posted.
All right, let's jump on that.
Subliminal Cucumber says, that's amazing. I think this is my new favourite piece of yours tonight.
For the what now?
Subliminal Cucumber said that they
Oh.
think this is their new favourite piece of yours.
Thank you. I still got a little ways to go. Here we go.
Sorry, I'm just like reading stuff out of the chat 'cause I don't know if both of you guys are watching chat. Drokart said, "Awesome Foxtrot. I love seeing how all those layers build up."
Thanks.
Alright, let me see what we
Kyle Webster's brushes are great, says Dead Painter. Demon Man says, "What band is Mike going to see?"
Going to see Shellac. That is a band formed by Steve Albini, who was also in the band's. Oh Jesus. Oh God. Give me a second. Jesus Christ! Hold on a second. I'm sorry.
To Google.
I'm trying to do the. Oh, okay, now I remember. So he's in a band. His first band is called Big Black, and then he's in a band called Rape Band, and then Shellac. And Shellac's kind of a minimal. It's a minimal rock band, and it's Steve Albini, Todd Traynor, and Shellac Band. It's only 3-piece. What was the bassist's name? Post Hardcore is their. Bob Weston. They are really awesome. I really suggest anybody, like, if seriously, like, you know, I say a lot of things, go see this and that, but like if Shellac goes to your town, go see them because they are they keep it real. It's kind of thing like the thing I love about them is there's no frills to like what they do. They go on stage and then they just kill it, and they're just so good. There's no special lighting. They just use the house lights. They play their set. There's no encore. Like usually when they finish, they'll disassemble their equipment as they're finishing the last song, and then it's the last till at the end, like he'll start pulling apart all his guitar like kind of equipment, and Weston will do the same with the bass stuff, and they'll just be Todd Traynor just there in the center because they have him front and center on the drums. And they'll start disassembling his drum kit as he's playing, and then all he's left with is his snare, and then he's playing the snare, and then they pull that away, then it's over. No encore, and they're just super tight. And they work as producers, kind of during just kind of was their day job was producing lots of. They could be huge artists too, and then they tour as their band for fun. So they charge very little. They just go to indie rock venues because they're just kind of doing it for fun and what they believe in. And then, Steve Albini produced Nirvana's In Utero. So, I mean, he's been around for a while. I guess he's part of, like, the kind of Seattle scene back in the day. And they're amazing. Seriously. Like, their latest album, Dude Incredible, is awesome. So check it out. I highly recommend it, and I'm gonna have to like haul ass down there to make sure. Well, it's 9 o'clock, so I think I have about an hour probably before they start. But I catch them every time they go on tour because they are someone you shouldn't miss. Very intense, very loud, very intense, and very graphic, and very awesome.
Nice.
So if you're just getting into Shellac, you can listen to their new album. Dude Incredible is really great. And then if it's not that album, I probably recommend listening to the album called 1000 Hertz. That's a good place to start. He wrote that album after his wife cheated on him, and it's really dark, really dark. But if you're in an angry mood, or if you ever think you're going to get in a fight with someone, there's a lot of good songs on there to listen to before that happens to get pumped. But in all seriousness, though, they are an amazing band, and it's amazing how far you can push like a unique sound with just a 3-part band, just guitar, bass, and drums. And that just goes to show with anything. It's just like it's all about skill. It's all about skill and creativity, and that's why I really like them. No frills. It's not one of those 16-piece bands or some producer sitting there, dependent on their silly-ass super saws to try to get famous. No, man, they keep it simple and they keep it real. So, anyways, I'm gonna show some art here as we go.
Oh, I've just realised I went the whole way through that without saving.
Oh, dude.
That would have been special.
You didn't save?
No, I just
God.
realised that.
Sarah does that and it almost gives me a panic attack every single time. Alright, let me share some art. Oh my god, I got so much random stuff here. Okay, first things first, we're going to show Cater artist working in traditional mediums on toned paper. It's always great to see. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Every time I see toned paper stuff, I keep thinking, I need to get me some of that.
Yeah,
Never
that's
do.
what I think. I've been using like a coloured sketchbook that I found, like I must have been gifted it when I was, I don't know, like 12 or something for a birthday party. Because when people know you're the arty person, they just give you art stuff forever. But it's like a different coloured book, so different coloured pages every 10 pages. Just like blue, yellow, green, whatever. So I've been doing like a pencil and pen and ink stuff in it, and it's kind of really nice to see how things look different with different colours behind it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It must make things easier. You don't have to worry about a mid-tone at all.
Yeah.
Just lights and darks.
Gadrail, Subliminal Cucumber, adding color to their work.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Olivia, what kind of pens did you use again? Just out of... I can't remember what kind of pens.
Isn't it Pro Markers?
Was that what it was?
Yeah, I'm the one who uses Pro Markers as well, because we're like Pro Marker buddies.
Pro Marker pals.
I used to sell them.
Good job.
I sold them at a hobbycraft.
Oh, you'd sell them?
Yeah, I like represented Letraset at hobbycraft once, and like sold their pens, and I got 3 pens out of it.
Oh yeah, free pens. You can tell us.
Well, it was.
Did you steal those pens?
No, they
totally
gave me like
tell
a
us, it's
massive bag full of them. They were like, "Dude, we can't pay you for this," and I was like, "Oh well." I sold over £100 worth of products in pens, so I'm glad they gave me pens. And that was in one day.
Yeah, they gave you pens. It's cool. You can tell us. It's just us here.
Oh my
It's
god!
fine. Future employers aren't listening. You can just totally tell us. You know, you worked hard. You know, you deserve some pens too, right?
You're such a brat. You know that, right?
Next piece is by director Joe Killian. Share that right now. I like this one. This is just like an awesome raw and dirty drawing. I love it. Just like so, like in your face, almost kind of psychedelic lines radiating out on the outside.
I really like them lines.
Get closer. There we go. So that good raw energy. They numbered the areas 1 and 2, here and here. That's interesting. What's going on there?
No. I think that's
Oh, is that just lines?
Just like lines for
Oh god, I just read those as numbers. I was wondering if they like. It's weird. I don't know why I did that.
I think it's for like the little wrinkle over the nose and then the little temple area.
And so I just totally saw that as just numbers there. I don't know. Now I can't unsee it. Interesting. That's awesome.
Your brain's doing some things.
It does many things after I finish the bottle of wine. Let's see here. Next. Have we seen everything else? Did we see this one? I don't think we... I think the Mudman has another line drawing here we haven't seen yet. Hold on. Let's share. Another Demon piece. Really nice line drawing here.
Oh, nice.
Did you just throw that down on the... He has like I think it's just an iPad drawing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
El Manjo appears like someone is clearly drinking wine. Sarah.
Excuse me.
Obviously, it's you.
Oh, I'll be my brains.
Oh, that's right. Let me see if I can find already.
It's in the artist lounge thread, he says.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let me refresh it. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's see if there's anything I missed in here. No. What's this one? Oh, shit. That's really awesome. This one's interesting to me, like, personally, because it looks a lot like a professor I had in school named Sam Wilson. He made very bizarre portraits of people wearing Groucho Marx masks. Those people being him. Okay, here we go. Screen share. Obey my brain. This is a really great piece. How much character that has.
Oh, nice. Wait, I'll make it stone.
Oh, wow.
I love kind of, there's some underlying geometries kind of going on in there that really have a lot of energy. Kind of the whole head kind of following a rectangle into a triangle, but then having the swoop of the hat break it up at top. That's really cool.
I really like how 3D and molded Obey My Brain stuff was.
Yeah.
That's some great work in those eyes.
Yeah,
The wrinkles
seriously.
around the eyes. Yeah.
Seriously. This might be one of my favorite pieces he's done. That's really cool. It's even like the palette is so on too.
Yeah.
Gotta get him on the show as well. Alright, is there anyone I'm missing here? Stroke art, drawing something, but probably won't be done till way later. That's fine, because we always, try to show anybody we miss, we try to show the next week, so keep at it. Alright, does anybody have, should we start wrapping it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I just posted my one. I'm done.
It looks epic, as always.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
I guess we could show what we've gotten so far.
Share time.
Yeah, sharing. Doo-doo-doo. Sharing. I'm just doing the hair at the moment, and then I'll move on to the body. It's taking so long because it's so big.
Yeah, that's gonna be a submit tomorrow kind of piece.
Yeah.
Or I might be like submit in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I hate going too big when there's big areas of black because I don't have any big markers.
You need one of these big fat hardcore markers.
I know.
All right. Foxtrot, you got to talk a bunch. So yours pops up as you show it.
Okay, here's a thing I made. It's terribly over the moon with it, but hey ho, it's a thing.
One thing we do as we wrap up is we, if there's any places people can follow the work, or anywhere they want us to like check us out, websites, etc. So if you have any of that, throw that out there. Any exciting things coming up?
Not art-wise, not for me. It's in the school holidays, then back to work. Deeply exciting. Have an Instagram. It's Oscar23 on there as well. Have a DeviantArt with a stupid username because I made it ages ago before I started using it. It's DA-Newbie. I at the end.
That happens a lot with people on there, I've come to find.
Yeah. Have a Society 6, Oscar23 as well. But I don't update it very often, and no one wants to buy things with pictures of other people on it, so because it's weird, as Mike pointed out earlier. I don't know what else to say, really.
Cool. I haven't got anything until Manchester. I'm not doing anything until I get my laptop back. I'll probably just spend the rest of my week completing this. But yeah, so yeah, I'll give a proper response next week.
Yeah.
What about
waiting. Personally, nothing. I'm just kind of working on things. I started working on figurative again with oil painting in my studio on a 5-foot painting. I'm probably gonna like kind of take photos of that as I go, so I have stuff to talk about here and in the artist lounge, because it's been I literally haven't worked on, like, I've done portraits, but as far as figurative goes for oil painting, I probably haven't done in 11 years, so that's going to be an adventure.
Cool.
Going back to that from landscape. So that'll be fun.
I'll tell you what, I'll try an acrylic portrait during this week, and then we can discuss our ventures into...
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. We should totally do that. What we're learning and what we're struggling with, because it will be a struggle.
Yeah, it will.
Gotta take a lot of photos. But yeah, so I'm just kind of like getting in a new groove there. Shows are coming down in my gallery at FM. We're doing Doug Stenott, who I've shown some of his work on my Instagram at MC Steffen. I'll be showing more of that there, and probably take some photos I can share with here. He's an amazing artist, and I actually was just doing a gallery sitting thing, and he makes his figures out of kind of like a taxidermy epoxy. And then he'll use like the wire and foil and weird mixed materials and make these amazing figures. So I have photos. I have a little bit of his process. I've talked to him about that. It'd be fun to share that so you guys can kind of... It was really interesting because it just goes to show you can make sculptures and not necessarily need things like kilns and power tools, etc. You can make amazingly beautiful sculptures with materials you can just order online and construct at home with, foil, wire, and a pair of latex gloves. So I'll talk about that maybe next week, and so that'll be fun. So yep, that's all I got.
Nice.
Cool.
All right then. Thank you everyone for watching. It's been really fun, and it's nice to do something different as well. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to my man again for the gifts. It's awesome. Michael, check his out when he can. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
All right.
Thank you for having me on.
Bye.
Bye.